Chapter 1. When in Xiangnuan 2020. 5. 30 QQ First Reading. Miss Xiangyi, how are you going to take responsibility for me? In the dimly lit room, when Xiangyi woke up, she heard a low and teasing male voice. Her brain was dizzy, and she narrowed her eyes to look around. It was probably a hotel suite. She was curled up on the bed, and the man was sitting on the sofa not far away. Xiangyi could only vaguely make out the other person's silhouette. He was a young man with a black shirt slightly open and long legs that were crossed. His slender fingers held a cigarette, and the scarlet flame flickered, illuminating half of his collarbone and clear Adam's apple. But she couldn't see his face clearly. Xiangyi quickly calmed down, and her tone was calm and polite. "Send me your account number, thank you." The room was eerily silent for a few seconds. The man's chuckle was full of sarcasm. "Hush money? If I sleep with you a few more times, won't I become rich?" Bang, bang, bang. The sound of the door being slammed sounded, accompanied by a sharp female voice. "It's here. I saw Xiangyi, that little B***tis, enter brother's room with my own eyes." When she heard this familiar but distant voice, Xiangyi was dazed for a moment. She rolled off the bed and walked to the man. "Account number," she said coldly. The man clicked his tongue, and his thin lips curled into a playful smile. How could a person become a completely different person in just a few minutes? Xiangyi was too lazy to talk nonsense with him, and she gave him a string of numbers. "If you want to talk about conditions, you can call this number." Her voice was originally soft, but now it was tinged with a touch of hoarseness, and unexpectedly, it made people's bones go soft. Excuse me. She pulled open the curtains, and the man, who didn't have time to turn sideways, was covered by the curtain. It was a rainy night outside the window, and the humid air hit her face. There was no flying sword or interstellar spaceship. It was an ordinary world, and it was also the world that Xiangyi had lived in for 20 years. She was finally back. There was a touch of loss in her heart, but it was quickly replaced by stability and steadiness. The world was different, but the skills she had learned were still there. The fair and delicate girl held onto the balcony railing and nimbly disappeared into the darkness. The man who just happened to get up saw this scene, and his eyebrows twitched. If he remembered correctly, this was the 6th floor? Meanwhile, the door was opened with a universal room card, and a group of people occupied the room. The leader was a slightly plump girl. She had just received news that Xiangyi had seduced the little idol she had been chasing recently. She turned on the main battery and said fiercely, "Shoot! Shoot for me! Xiangyi, haven't you gone crazy from wanting to be famous? I'll send you to tomorrow's headlines. Brother, quickly cover your face so that it doesn't get you." The moment the room became bright again, everyone saw the slender and lazy figure in the room. Sure Indy? The man stood in front of the window and didn't even look back. He put out the cigarette and said in a slow and cold voice, "Looks like I'm going to make the headlines tomorrow?" No. I made a mistake. I will delete all the photos." The chubby girl was scared to tears by his words. Based on the landmarks on the 1st floor, Xiangyi judged that she was at a hot spring resort. Just as she was about to leave, she saw a man with colorful hair screaming. He threw away the umbrella in his hand and ran towards her. "Oh my, did you really ruin that little idol?" Little idol? The man whose face she didn't see clearly just now was an artist? Xiangyi thought for 2 seconds and gave an objective evaluation. "I might have succeeded, but I might not have succeeded." The manager's vision darkened. "By the way, hello, who are you?" The manager's vision darkened even more. Chapter 2. Half an hour later, Xiangyi finally figured out that this feather duster. Oh no, this man with colorful hair was her manager, Annan. A year ago, she was in a car accident. When she woke up, she was bound to a system. Just like what was written in countless online novels, she began her fast-paced life. Today was the day she ended all her missions and returned to the real world. However, contrary to Xiangyi's judgment, her body did not fall into a vegetative state. Instead, it had been possessed by someone for a year. She stood in front of the full-length mirror. The girl in the mirror was excessively thin. She wore a sweet cool girl group's short top and a red checkered skirt, revealing her straight and slender legs and a fair and delicate waist. Her hair was tied into 2 ponytails, and she wore all kinds of gaudy butterfly knots and hair clips. Jianghu, who had transmigrated through countless worlds like a fish in water, looked at the hair clips with a dazed expression that was rarely seen in her life. After removing one of the hair clips, her little face scrunched up in pain. Boo-hoo! Annan was still holding the tissue box and crying. My goodness, you've lost your memory. What should we do? Jianghu pointed at the hair clip. Help me remove it, thank you. Annan did as he was told. He was skillful and he removed it quickly and gently. He had yet to realize that Jianghu used to bully the weak and fear the strong. She was so cowardly in front of the big boss, but she was so domineering in front of him, the driver, and the nanny. In the past, he was used to listening to her, but now, he couldn't help but submit to her. Jianghu asked, how much do I have to pay for the termination of the contract I signed? Annan cried as he removed the hair clips. He could be said to be a multitasking master. My goodness, you have to pay 100 million yuan if you terminate the contract. My goodness, you're so pitiful. Jianghu was speechless. Was the person occupying her body an idiot? How dare she sign such an unfair contract? Where was her brain? Hadn't she owned it before? Annan helped her remove the hairband and hair clip, and even helped her comb her messy hair. Actually, other than the termination of the contract, the company's treatment of you is not bad. As long as you work hard, you can buy your favorite bag every month. Let's not think about the termination of the contract, okay? Where are you going to get so much money? Jianghu calculated her liquidity, financial management, and real estate, and sighed. Well, it's still not enough. She only had slightly more than 90 million. Annan didn't take her words to heart at all. Even if he drank fake wine, he wouldn't believe that Jianghu could take out 100 million yuan. Good girl, I'll run the hot water for you. Go take a nice bath and remember to post some selfies later. Annan was about to go to the bathroom when the doorbell rang. He looked through the peephole vigilantly and saw that it was Jianghu's boyfriend. Only then did he feel relieved and open the door. Young Master Xiao, you've come to see us? Annan smiled, but when he saw the weak girl hiding behind Xiao Yang, his expression changed. Xiao Yang held her hand and comforted her in a low voice. Don't be afraid, hubby will break up with that stupid woman now. Yes, brother Yang is the best. Annan exploded. Xiao Yang, you're shameless. My goodness is so good to you, and you actually cheated on her. You sissy, what right do you have to talk to me? Xiao Yang rolled his eyes at him and said arrogantly, Hey, I'm here to break up with you. He suddenly froze. The weak girl followed his gaze and couldn't help but be stunned. Was that stupid woman with the surname Xiang that beautiful? Chapter 3. Under the warm lighting, the girl was still so fair that she seemed to glow. Her long hair was loose and she was wearing a loose apricot knitted sweater. She was casually scrolling through her phone. Hearing the commotion, she raised her eyes and looked over. Xiao Yang, who was terrible at language, could not help but think of 2 adjectives. Her eyebrows were clear and her eyes were bright and her teeth were white. Especially her calm and arrogant temperament, it was simply too attractive. Yang. The weak girl felt uneasy and grabbed Xiao Yang's arm. Only then did Xiao Yang come back to his senses. He remembered how Jianghu had insisted on dating him like a dog. Every time he wanted to break up with her, she would cry and make a fuss. She would even buy him all kinds of expensive gifts to please him. He suddenly felt confident. He did not like Jianghu, but the bad habits of men made him enjoy the feeling of Jianghu pestering him. Kuff Jianghu, I'm sorry. I've fallen in love with Ruoruo. I know that you're so kind, you'll definitely give us your blessings, right? His tone was righteous. Jianghu asked, Who are you? Annan explained, Darling, this is your boyfriend. He glared at Xiao Yang. Darling lost her memory and doesn't remember you. Xiao Yang did not believe him and sneered, Jianghu, what tricks are you playing now? Do you think I'll believe you? Amnesia? Why don't you just say that you traveled through time? Ruoruo tugged at his sleeve. Yang, don't say that. Jianghu is in the entertainment industry. Those who are in the arts have a romantic heart. Xiao Yang scoffed. Her? She's in the arts? She's a variety star. She used to be on TV, but now she can only do it online. Xiangyi interrupted him. So, you're here to ask for the breakup fee? Xiao Yang? Ruoruo? Is 1 million enough? Xiangyi asked politely. She did not feel anything about being green. It was just the feelings of the person who had taken over her body, not hers. It was the same as the man in the hotel whose face she did not see clearly. To her, it meant one word: trouble. It would be best if she could solve it with money. Xiao Yang met her calm eyes and panicked, but more than that, he was angry. What do you mean? Who are you insulting? Can the feelings between us be measured by money? Okay, I understand. Xiangyi nodded expressionlessly. Not enough? 2 million then. Annan's mouth was wide open. Oh my God, was his sweetheart provoked? But it was really King awesome. This was the first time he had seen the scumbag's face turn green with anger. Although being a variety actress sounded a little embarrassing, Xiangyi's income was still much higher than the average person's. Therefore, Annan felt that 2 million was not a small sum of money, but it was still worth it to slap the scumbag's face. Xiangyi found Xiao Yang's account number on her phone and entered the number. Ding dong, 2 million RMB has been transferred to your XX account. A melodious voice rang out in the room. Xiao Yang was born into a wealthy family, so he did not lack money. He had always been the one to throw money at others, but this was the first time he had been thrown at by someone with money. Xiangyi, you're humiliating me. The fair-skinned girl lazily leaned on the sofa, feeling puzzled. Humiliate you? Isn't that natural? You smoke, you drink, you cheat, and you're still a good boy? Xiao Yang choked. Xiangyi had a gentle temper, but she would not be polite to scumbags like him. Xiao Yang's eyes widened. He was so shocked that he could not speak. Ruoruo, who was beside him, took the opportunity to fan the flames. Brother Yang, how can Xiangyi be like this? She has no manners at all. Xiangyi rested her chin on one hand and thought for a while. Then, can the two of you please scram? Xiao Yang, Ruoruo. Chapter 4. Then, can you two please get lost? Xiao Yang was speechless. Ruoruo was speechless. Get lost, I won't see you out. Xiangyi's tone was still nonchalant, as if she didn't care about this scumbag and little white flower. Xiao Yang choked. He didn't expect Xiangyi to treat him like this. The girl lowered her eyes, her gaze falling on the screen. He didn't know what she was looking at, but she was serious and focused. Her jawline was exquisite, and her hair fell softly. She looked like she had been living a peaceful life. She was a completely different person from the girl who only knew how to cry and throw tantrums in front of him. Good, very good. Xiangyi, don't you regret this? After leaving behind these harsh words, Xiao Yang angrily left with his beloved little white flower. Annan naturally wouldn't be nice to them, and he slammed the door. Xiao Yang was speechless. Xiangyi was crazy, and this sissy was crazy too. How dare he treat him like this? In the room, Annan was overjoyed. Good girl. You're so good at insulting him. But why did you give him so much money? It's not easy for you to earn money. He heard that the Xiang family was well off, but in the past year, Xiangyi had fallen out with her family one after another, and she was basically left to fend for herself. Xiangyi said, It's nothing, I'm just spending money to avoid misfortune. Annan was curious. What are you looking at for so long? I'm looking at how everyone is scolding me. Annan was anxious and hurried forward to snatch her phone away. Good girl, didn't you promise me that you wouldn't look at these? Right, you've lost your memory. Don't worry, that's all nonsense from the netizens. He inadvertently glanced at the screen, and he immediately sucked in a breath of cold air, his voice trembling. Good, 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 good. Didn't you enter the room of the little idol? Xiangyi looked at him innocently. I forgot. Amnesia was a good excuse, so she used it whenever she could. Annan's voice cracked. Shiringdi. You entered Shiringdi's room. Xiangyi asked calmly, Who is he? Shiringdi. Shui. Sway, two tones, the same sound as sway, For the rest of the time, Annan cracked his voice to explain to Xiangyi just how awesome Shui was. She was the city's top scorer in the college entrance examination and was admitted to the top university in the country, Beijing University. However, she dropped out for some reason. He had taken a lousy card from a down-and-out young master and entered the entertainment industry as a result. He was the youngest Grand Slam Best Actor in history. He casually went to act in a TV series and won the Best Actor award. He was obviously going for the path of a strong actor, but he had countless loyal fans. To sum it up in one sentence, looks, money, and IQ. After Annan concluded, he circled Xiangyi back and forth and said bitterly, You, do you know how many people's white moonlight has been ruined by you? Xiangyi. She really wanted to know what had happened in the past year. But thinking about it, to be able to use such a wonderful word like ruin, the person who occupied her body was probably a worrisome person. Wow, you're on the hot search list. Your Weibo page has been massacred by Shuringdi's fans. You can't go on the online variety show that we talked about before. Annan started to pull out tissues again. Wow, what are we going to do? Wu, we're going to starve to death. Xiangyi was silent for a few seconds, then patted his shoulder stiffly. She was not used to physical contact with others. It's okay, I have land. I can go farm. If not, I can still go home and inherit the family property. Annan cried even harder when he heard this. His sweetheart had not only lost her memory, but her brain had also changed from a fool to a silly one. It's over. Baby. La. Chapter 5. A week later. The discussion about Xiangyi and Shui on the internet gradually died down, but Xiangyi's Weibo was flooded with comments and she was ridiculed by the netizens. Annan carefully dialed Xiangyi's number. Buzz. The call went through. Sweetheart, are you awake? Yes, what's the matter? There was static on the phone, and it sounded like she was exercising. Annan was gratified like an old father. Sweetheart had really grown up after losing her memory. She was still exercising to maintain her figure. Sweetheart, it's okay now. The netizens have been scolding you for days and nights and they're tired. This time, you've profited from a disaster and gained popularity all of a sudden. There's a very popular live variety show and they want to invite you to be a flying guest. Shall I pick it up for you? No, I'm quite busy. Annan was confused. What are you busy with? Are you at a spa? Or a hot spring? Xiangyi said calmly, feeding a pig. Hey, what's this? Annan was in a daze for a moment, but he quickly reacted. Recently, pets like ducklings and pigs were popular on the internet. Xiangyi should be raising those cute piglets, right? He persuaded earnestly, it's just for 2 days. Let's perform well and earn 100,000 yuan. Isn't that good? Xiangyi, my pig is also very delicious. What? Pet pigs are so cute and you eat them? It's not a pet pig. Xiangyi explained seriously, it's an omnivorous mammal. Its meat is tender, bright red, and juicy. It can be used to make braised pork, boiled pork slices, and sweet and sour pork ribs. It took Annan more than 10 seconds to recover from the shock. I'm hanging up. I'm going to slaughter the pig. Annan? He spent more than 10 seconds comforting himself. Xiangyi should be experiencing life at a farmhouse or something. Right? She was a delicate girl who weighed less than 80 kilograms. Could she even hold a butcher's knife, let alone slaughter a pig? Xingyao Entertainment. In the CEO's office. Xiang Feng sat casually on a leather swivel chair and shook his legs. He didn't look like a domineering CEO at all. You fired him, right? You ungrateful thing. You haven't treated him badly all these years. If you hadn't paid for his mother's medical expenses? Xiang Feng complained to the man in front of the window. From his angle, he could see the man's handsome side profile. His facial features were more three-dimensional than on the big screen. Broad shoulders and long legs, perfect proportions. He was dressed casually. His white shirt was rolled up in 2 folds, revealing his muscular forearms. His well-defined fingers were holding a cigarette, but he didn't smoke. He just played with it casually. Shui said lazily, let's not talk about someone we'll never meet again. Xiang Feng curled his lips. Fine, whatever you say. Who told you to be the top star of our company? Hey, I was just joking. Don't look at me like that, it's scary. A week ago, Sui's assistant, who had been working for him for many years, betrayed him and leaked a lot of information to the paparazzi. Most of it was fabricated based on groundless accusations, but the mixture of truth and falsehood caused a lot of waves because of the assistant's special identity. Jianghu entering his room was just one of the insignificant things. Thinking of his little niece who had lost her memory, Xiang Feng had a headache. Jianghu is hopeless. How dare she enter your room? I'm so angry. If I talk to her again, I'm a dog. As soon as he finished speaking, his phone suddenly rang. The caller ID, Little Jianghu. Chapter 6. Xiang Feng. He jumped back and forth between taking the call and not taking it, swaying wildly. If he didn't take it, Jianghu was his little niece after all. What if she was really in danger? If he took it, wouldn't that be admitting that he was a dog in front of Shui? I'm the CEO of Xingyao Entertainment, why would I do something like that? The next second, Xiang Feng answered the phone expressionlessly, his tone cold. Hey, if you have something to say, say it. If you don't disturb me. A soft and well-behaved voice came through the receiver. Little uncle, are you working overtime? Can I bring you some food? Xiang Feng remembered that he had posted a picture of himself working overtime in order to show off. He almost agreed, thinking that this was just Jianghu deliberately trying to please him. Who knew what kind of trouble she was going to cause? Over the past year, she had used the excuse of amnesia to drive her grandfather to the hospital. Her grandmother had fainted several times, and her brothers had all fallen out. Although Xiang Feng was senior, he was only a few years older than Jianghu, so he had doted on her since she was young. In the beginning, he helped her clean up a lot of her messes, but after being hurt again and again, he was too lazy to care about Jianghu's affairs. No need, our company has overtime meals. Xiang Feng's attitude was cold. He was prepared for Jianghu to mess around with him, but after waiting for a few seconds, Jianghu didn't do anything. Instead, I cooked it myself. Jianghu spoke unhurriedly, sounding like a gentle person with a good temper. Braised meat rice, sweet and sour pork ribs, boiled vegetables, and pumpkin porridge. Huh! Xiang Feng was stunned. Jianghu had been good at cooking since she was young and loved to tinker with all kinds of delicious food. A year ago, she insisted that she had amnesia and even forgotten her cooking skills. Over the past year, Xiang Feng hadn't even seen her boil a pot of hot water, let alone food. Sorry, I forgot to tell you. Little uncle, I've recovered my memory. The female voice on the receiver had a familiar soft tone. But over the past year, Xiang Feng had been too disappointed in her, so now he was skeptical, and more than he trusted her. Come if you want. Your legs are on your body, I can't stop you. He hung up the phone. Xiang Feng rubbed the goosebumps on his arms. Brother Shui, do you think my little niece has schizophrenia? She's just like that crazy character you played when you won the Best Actor award? Shui raised her eyebrows. What did you call me? Xiang Feng. I've really gone overboard, how dare I call Shui by his nickname? Ahem, you're younger than me in the first place? It's natural for me to call you little brother. Shui sneered, I'm not young. Xiang Feng. F***ck, the wheels of the car are on my face. I just feel that my little niece seems to have changed into another person. She even said that she had regained her memories. I don't know if I should believe her. Shui lit the cigarette with his fingers. The scarlet flames flickered like stars in the smoke. He said casually, maybe, there are two of them. But her voice was too soft to reach Xiang Feng's ears. Half an hour later, Jianghu carried the lunchbox into the CEO's office. Xiang Feng stared at her warily when he saw her enter. Little uncle. Jianghu greeted him softly. She noticed that there was another person in the room, sitting on the sofa and playing with a lighter. His back was facing her. Did you really make this? You didn't order takeout, did you? Xiang Feng complained. He was just opening it to take a look. He would never eat it and he would never forgive Jianghu. As soon as the lunchbox was opened, the rich aroma instantly filled the entire office. Chapter 7. The first layer was sweet and sour pork ribs. The ribs were rosy and glossy, dotted with white sesame seeds. The second layer was boiled vegetables. The green and tender vegetables were delicately arranged, drizzled with shredded ginger, minced garlic, and oyster sauce. The third layer was the main dish, braised pork rice. Fresh pork belly was dipped in water and cut into small cubes. It was slowly stewed in a small casserole. The fat sizzled and bubbled, and the gelatinous pigskin perfectly melted into the broth. The braised egg was divided into two. The yolk was soft and glutinous, and it was accompanied by several carefully marinated pickles. There was also a small bowl filled with pumpkin porridge. The pumpkin was steamed beforehand, stirred into a paste, and added rock sugar and lily. It was cooked into the thick porridge, still emitting steam. Xiang Feng recalled the delicious food his little niece used to make. The delicious taste in his memory merged with the aroma at this moment, and he began to gulp. I'll just have a taste. Let's see if it's takeout or if it's made by you. Xiang Feng found an excuse for himself and picked up a piece of pork rib with his chopsticks. Oh wow, delicious. This was his favorite sweetness. Xiang Feng had a little secret that no one knew, and that was his preference for sweets. He liked sweet and sour pork ribs, sweet and sour fish, and other dishes that were sweeter than normal. After skillfully wrapping the pork ribs, Xiang Feng picked up some vegetables. He intended to relieve the grease, but his eyes widened. How could vegetables taste so good? He had completely forgotten that he had just said, just a taste. His chopsticks moved like the wind, stuffing his cheeks until they were round. Xiangyi didn't say anything and just sat across from him with a smile. She would only smile so gently and brightly in front of her family. Xiang Feng coughed awkwardly, but since he had already eaten, he might as well go all the way. He picked up his chopsticks to eat the braised pork rice, but Xiangyi handed him a spoon. Here for you. At that moment, Xiang Feng really had the illusion that his little niece had returned. It was as if his little niece had been possessed by something strange for the past year. But it was obvious that his brain wasn't enough to process such complicated things. He scooped up a spoonful of braised pork rice and stuffed it into his mouth. The fatty meat melted in his mouth, while the lean meat was soft and chewy. The thick broth was poured over the rice grains, staining them with a sugar-brown color. It was fragrant but not greasy, salty and sweet. Ow, 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 ow. If it weren't for his many years of upbringing, Xiang Feng would have hit the lunchbox with a spoon. How could it be so delicious? Was this heaven? Why is there such a delicious meal? Xiang Feng buried his head in the rice and ate with great relish. Xiangyi felt that he was a little like the piglets she raised. When the little piglets grow up, I'll kill them all and make braised meat rice for little uncle. Xiangyi had prepared enough for 2 people, but in less than 10 minutes, Xiang Feng had finished everything like a whirlwind. Only then did he realize that he was choking. Xiangyi smiled and passed the pumpkin porridge to him. Xiang Feng wanted to take a few sips to soothe his throat, but it turned out to be too delicious. He couldn't help but gulp it all down. This meal was so delicious. Burp. Xiang Feng rubbed his stomach and slumped against the back of the chair like a satisfied salted fish. Little Xiangyi, Uncle forgives you. Xiangyi blinked. Little uncle, then do you believe me about regaining my memory? Xiang Feng angrily slapped the armrest. You're my niece. If I don't believe you, who would I believe? A soft laugh seemed to hook onto the tip of his heart, low and flirtatious. Xiang Feng suddenly came to his senses. Shui was still here. He pondered for 2 seconds, then introduced him to Xiangyi. This is the man you ruined. Xiangyi, very good, it's the beautiful word, ruined again. She glanced sideways and suddenly met a gaze as deep as the sea. After being stunned for a while, Xiangyi came back to her senses. The corners of her eyes were moist. Asterisk good night, dear readers, please remember to add to bookshelf, vote for Red Bean, and comment. 6. 1. Fast. Happy. Red Heart. Chapter 8. A year had passed in the real world, but time flowed at different speeds in different worlds, so Xiangyi was no longer sensitive to the concept of time. But the moment she saw Shui's face, Xiangyi remembered a certain point in time. At her 16th birthday party, she caught a glimpse of him. From that day onwards, she secretly fell in love with someone whose name she didn't know. Perhaps the so-called crush she had when she was young wasn't a passionate feeling, but when she thought of him in a distant world, there would always be a touch of sweetness in her heart. He was her white moonlight. Shui noticed her strangeness and raised his eyebrows slightly. Xiangyi quickly adjusted her mood and greeted him graciously. "Hello, I'm Xiangyi." The courtesy and demeanor of the Xiang family were engraved in their bones, but their personalities were different. Xiang Feng was noisy and lively, while Xiangyi was very gentle. This was the evaluation that involuntarily appeared in Shui's mind. The woman who broke into his room that night was pretentious and deliberately coquettish, and the way she recommended herself to be his pillow was disgusting. After fainting, she became calm and sober. Sure enough, there were two people. He thought. "Hello, Shui." The man's voice was languid and low, slightly dragging out his tone, and inexplicably flirting with her. "Xiangyi, about last time? I'm sorry. Actually, when I recovered my memory, I also lost my memory of the past year." Her expression was calm. She was simply an ordinary little genius at shifting the blame. "Don't ask. If you do, you'll lose your memory." Xiang Feng was shocked. "What? How did you recover your memory and then lose it? Little Xiangyi, do you have a headache?" "No, I have to take you to Xiangli for a checkup." "I'm fine. I've already had a physical examination." This week, Xiangyi not only learned about what had happened in the past year, but also used medicinal cuisine to recuperate for herself. This body was obviously malnourished, and she must have deliberately pursued a good figure by dieting to lose weight. Also, second brother probably doesn't want to see me now. Xiang Feng. That's true. Xiang Li was a medical doctor. Although he was more in the theoretical direction, his hands were extremely important. He had done countless precise experiments, but because of Xiangyi's willfulness, the nerves in his left wrist were damaged. If the medical and scientific community were to find out about this, there would probably be tens of thousands of people asking Xiangyi to commit suicide as an apology. Xiangyi felt that her medicinal cuisine and medical skills might be able to cure her second brother's hand, but this matter could not be rushed. To restore his relationship with his family, he had to do it one by one. Her youngest uncle was the closest to her and had a carefree personality. He was the person she had the most confidence in. That was why she came to him first. She didn't deliberately explain anything. She lowered her head and quietly packed the lunch boxes. Xiang Feng glanced at her, and his face almost turned red. The lunchbox was so clean that it looked like it had been licked. Shiny. He pretended to sound like a professional. "Ahem, Shui, do you have any thoughts about your work arrangement?" Shui said casually, "Rest for a while and find a place to plant flowers and fish." Xiang Feng. "Okay, it's good for you to rest. If there's a suitable job, I'll keep an eye out for you. But you'll have to find a new assistant. With your bad habits, you probably won't even pick up a fallen oil bottle. If you live alone, there are only two endings. You'll either be poisoned by takeout or starve to death. It's best to find someone who can cook." Xiangyi suddenly raised her head. "I can." Shui looked at her with a faint smile. If the two of them were using a 5G network, then Xiang Feng was using a 2G network. He looked confused. "What do you mean you can?" Chapter 9. Xiangyi explained in a gentle voice, "I can be his assistant. I'm pretty good at cooking." Shui was her white moonlight. Her love for him wasn't the kind that wanted to be his girlfriend, but more like a fan. She just wanted to be nice to him. What's more, when she transmigrated in the past, she was bound to a nurse system. Simply put, it was to assist her teammates and let them attack their opponents. Most of the skills she had mastered were supportive in nature. Perhaps they weren't lethal, but she was quite suitable as an assistant. Xiang Feng panicked when he heard this. How can that be? How can a girl from our Xiang family cook for another man? Is he worthy? He's not. A chill ran down his spine, and Xiang Feng abruptly changed his words. It's not that he's not worthy, it's just that I'm afraid you'll tire yourself out. Besides, you're an artist. How can you be an assistant to another artist? Xiangyi, I have plans to quit the entertainment industry. Xiang Feng's expression was sluggish. He thought he had misheard. Xiangyi repeated, I want to quit the industry. Just after I recovered my memories, I found my original heart and realized the true meaning of life. That is, to return to the countryside and have my heart set on the mountains and rivers. The latter half of the sentence was nonsense, but the truth was, the max-level big boss is tired and wants to retire peacefully. Xiang Feng was in a bit of a trance. One had to know that a year ago, his little niece had cried and kicked up a fuss in order to enter the entertainment industry. The Xiang family had been tormented by her. The little princess of the Xiang family could have gotten a meteorite if she wanted the stars in the sky. Why would she want to suffer in the entertainment industry? But Xiang Feng couldn't stand her crying. As her uncle, his heart softened and he was prepared to sign her to his company and personally feed her resources. But in the end, she was bewitched by her so-called sister and signed an unfair contract with a notorious small company. Xiang Feng was furious when he found out, but she still had the audacity to accuse him of not understanding how good and kind her sister was. Xiang Feng was truly heartbroken at that time. At this moment he seriously thought about it. Of course, quitting the industry was a good thing. With her eyesore singing and acting skills, she would drag down the standards of the entire entertainment industry. The idea of being an assistant seemed a bit absurd to him. What was she after? How much money could she make? In a flash, Xiang Feng suddenly had an epiphany. Damn, what kind of money was this? His little niece was obviously attracted to Shi Sui's beauty, lusting after Shi Sui's body. Thinking of this, Xiang Feng decisively refused. If you want to leave the industry, I can help you. Forget about being an assistant. Xiangyi had only mentioned it casually. Since Xiang Feng didn't agree, she didn't say anything else. A person like Shi Sui could get any assistant she wanted. She was worrying too much. Little uncle Mr. Shi, I'll be leaving first. Xiangyi greeted him obediently. After taking a few steps out, she suddenly thought of something and turned back to take out a small bag of snowflake pastries from her bag. She stuffed it into Xiang Feng's hands. Try it and see if you like it. If you like it, let me know on WeChat. I'll make more for you next time. This was how the members of the Xiang family got along. Whenever there was something good, they would always think of their family. Xiang Feng doted on his little niece, so Xiangyi would also try her best to treat him well. The girl's footsteps were light as she left the office. Shi Sui's deep eyes seemed to fall on Xiang Feng's hands. Peanuts, biscuits, almonds, dried cranberries, chopped up and mixed with melted cotton candy and powdered milk. Each piece was exquisite and small, exuding a sweet and light aroma. Xiang Feng smiled like a landlord's silly son. You don't like sweet things, right? Then I won't share with you. He opened his mouth to the limit and stuffed all the snowflake pastries into his mouth in one breath. Shi Sui. Chapter 10. The next day. At around 10 in the morning, Xiangyi received a call from her manager, Nan. He asked uneasily, Sweetheart, are you up yet? Previously, Xiangyi had a bad temper when she woke up. If anyone accidentally disturbed her, they would be scolded badly. Xiangyi turned on the speakerphone and placed her phone on the flower rack. She used gardening scissors to trim a few broken daisies. What's the matter? Her biological clock was very accurate. No matter where she was, she would wake up at 7 o'clock sharp, unless it was raining or snowing. Nan heaved a sigh of relief and said in a fawning tone, Sweetheart, do you want to reconsider that variety show? After all, you don't have any other jobs and have nothing to do. Xiangyi thought for a moment and said, Come to my house. Let's talk face to face. I'll send you the address. After hanging up, Nan was still a little confused. Didn't Xiangyi live in the company apartment? Could she have moved? An hour later, Nan's eyes widened as he stared at the magnificent black wrought iron gate. There was a Roman-style fountain in front of the European-style villa. The garden? No, it should be called a manor. There were flowers everywhere. The Chinese roses bloomed the best in the late spring season. At a glance, there were at least dozens of varieties, including shrubs and vines. Behind them was a boundless expanse of vegetable fields. Further away, there seemed to be a farm. The door opened automatically. Not far away, Xiangyi, who was wearing a white cotton dress and a light-colored straw hat, waved at him. She was carrying a hand-woven rattan basket with freshly picked vegetables and fruits. Annan was worried. He jogged over to Xiangyi and looked at her with watery eyes. "Sweetheart, are you locked up here? Just like in the novels, the overbearing Seol locked you up here and you're not allowed to go anywhere. You can only be his little canary." Xiangyi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Don't worry, our country has a complete set of criminal laws. This is the house my mother left me. No one is restricting my personal freedom." Annan heaved a sigh of relief and asked curiously, "Why are there so many vegetable fields? The terrain here doesn't look like farmland." He had heard a little about Xiangyi's family background. He had heard that she was from a wealthy family, so he wasn't too surprised. "Oh, it was originally a golf course, but it was renovated later." "Annan?" he thought absent-mindedly, "is the life of the rich so simple and down-to-earth? It's lunchtime. There's still a small pot of rice left from yesterday. Can we eat egg-fried rice?" Xiangyi tilted her head and asked, "Annan, huh? Do you have a housekeeper? I don't know how to cook." He subconsciously thought that Xiangyi wouldn't either. "I will." "Oh my God, you're amazing. You're really awesome." Annan went against his conscience and praised her. As the king of rainbow fart managers, bragging about his own artists was a professional thing to do. My dear, you haven't shown your face in a long time. Why don't you start a live stream and cook?" Dark cuisine was dark cuisine. It was the same logic as black and red cuisine. Annan comforted himself with a very optimistic spirit, thinking that no matter how bad Xiangyi's cooking was, he would still take a bite with no qualms about death. Chapter 11. Annan used Xiangyi's Weibo account to post a live stream announcement. When the time came, many fans instantly flooded the live stream. In the past year, Xiangyi was a typical example of someone who couldn't do anything in the entertainment industry and was known for crying. When she was acting, she would pout and stare at her with her eyes wide open. When she sang, she would go off-key and infuriate 10 sound engineers. She was nicknamed the Crybaby and the Little Vase. But even so, Xiangyi still had a group of die-hard fans who adored her good looks. "Ah, where is she? Sister E, I miss you so much. My pretty sister is here. Annan's flowery shirt looks nice today. Please share a link. Sweetheart is going to live stream cooking for everyone today. Are you guys surprised? Are you surprised? I'm sure everyone must be like me, looking forward to seeing what she'll cook." Annan greeted everyone first. He often accompanied Xiangyi on live streams, so the fans were quite friendly to him. He wandered over to Xiangyi. "Sweetheart, say hello to everyone." Xiangyi naturally said, "Good afternoon, have you all eaten? I'm going to cook some egg-fried rice." She saw a text flashing at the bottom left corner of the screen and curiously leaned over, wanting to see what the comments were. And from the perspective of the fans, the fair and delicate girl's cheeks were a little rounder than when she was doing her job. Her skin was delicate and smooth, with a creamy texture. After getting closer, it was a beautiful sight. For a moment, the comments were all, "Ah, I'm dead. My sister's face is killing me," and I'm full. Xiangyi looked at it for a while and realized that the netizens were just as interesting no matter which world they were in. She put some distance between them and smiled slightly. Egg-fried rice is very easy to make. Apart from the necessary ingredients, rice and eggs, you can also adjust it to your taste. Today, I've prepared green beans, carrots, shiitake mushrooms, shrimp, and ham. The ingredients had long been washed and neatly arranged in sky blue porcelain bowls, looking very pleasing to the eye. Someone commented, "May I ask, is this porcelain bowl the set of Green Glaze, Misty Rain series produced by Shizhou Porcelain?" I'm laughing my head off. Does the person in front know how expensive the Misty Rain series is? That's F*King collectible porcelain. Who would use it as cutlery? Soon, these two bullet screens were drowned out by the heavy comments. Annan muttered in his heart, "Has my sweetheart been watching mukbang broadcasts recently? She looks quite professional." He almost believed that she could cook. Click! Xiangyi turned on the stove. After the oil heated up, she sprinkled some chopped green onions into it. The unique fragrance of scallion oil wafted into Annan's nose. He didn't know if it was because of the freshness of the ingredients, but Anand felt that it smelled particularly good. It didn't have the oily smell that he usually smelled when cooking. Chapter 12. Next, she poured rice, eggs, and other ingredients into the bowl. This dish was too homely, and Xiangyi's cooking was also very plain. She didn't toss the spoon or anything, but somehow, it made she looked hungry. Nowadays, the live stream industry in China was very developed, and there were even many chefs and famous chefs on the food channel. The dishes they cooked were high-end and exquisite, and their knife skills, heat control, seasoning, and other skills could make people praise them from beginning to end. However, something was still missing. Many netizens in front of the screen couldn't help but salivate. Damn, I'm so hungry just looking at this rice. It must be delicious. It's full of my favorite food. Boo-hoo, why does our pretty sister look so good when she's cooking? Nan had been paying attention to the comments and was having a good time, but he didn't expect the anti-fans to arrive so late. It's just fried rice, what are you all bragging about? You must have turned on your beauty filters. How can a kitchen in real life be so clean? Maggot, she's starting to jump around again. Please have some self-respect, okay? You're not worthy of our Shurindi. Tell everyone how to boycott the Vase Fairy and report all her endorsements and brands. Don't ask why. Trash endorsements are naturally trash products. Make her pay for the breach of contract until she goes bankrupt. Annan's face became more and more sullen. He wasn't a capable manager and couldn't get any top-notch resources, but every brand and promotion advertisement that Xiangyi accepted had been carefully selected. The quality, reputation, and cost-performance ratio were all guaranteed. Seeing his artists being criticized so badly, he wished he could hold his keyboard and flame them for 3 days and 3 nights. When his anger reached its peak, a gentle and clear voice sounded. Wash your hands, it's time to eat. She's done? So fast? Nan froze and looked at her. The girl was scooping rice, and the wooden spatula made her slender and beautiful fingers look as white as milk. The rice was soft and golden, and there were red shrimp, green beans, orange carrots. The bright and warm colors mixed with the fragrance of the rice. It was a dish that couldn't be more homely, but it was extremely impactful. Gulp. Nan swallowed his saliva. You eat first. I'll make seaweed soup, Xiangyi said and continued to busy herself. Nan wanted to say that he would wait for her to eat together, but his stomach inexplicably rumbled nonstop. He comforted himself. It's not that I'm greedy, it's this bowl of rice that seduced me first. He leaned his phone against the shelf next to him, just enough to take a picture of him and Xiangyi. Nan was not particular about it. He took the rice and started eating in the kitchen. The moment the rice entered his mouth, the netizens in front of the screen realized that the screen had stopped moving. Is the internet lagging? They tapped on the screen and found that everything was normal. After a full 10 seconds, Nan, who had maintained a state of stillness, finally returned to normal. His voice was unexpectedly tinged with a sobbing tone. F***CK. What kind of delicacy is this? Chapter 13. Nan never thought that a simple bowl of egg-fried rice could be so delicious. He had been watching the entire process of Xiangyi's cooking. She didn't add any seasonings like MSG or chicken powder, but the rice was still incredibly fresh. The rice was soft and chewy. He scooped a big mouthful of rice into his mouth. The rich variety of ingredients created a sense of deliciousness and bliss. After Nan lamented that sentence, he couldn't be bothered to interact with the netizens as he buried his head in his food like a heartless eating machine. He ate more happily than the food bloggers. Since it was lunchtime, many netizens couldn't help but click on the blue or yellow apps to search for fried rice and place orders. Boo-hoo, I'm hungry. I miss Granny's egg fried rice. She always puts a lot of shrimps in it. Heh, it's obvious that she's just putting on a show. It's just egg fried rice, how delicious can it be? The manager is too pretentious. I hate sissy men the most. It's so delicious that they cry. Is it that exaggerated? Disgusting. A certain vase fairy can't get any more attention. Is she trying to create a gourmet persona now? TSK, she doesn't even know how to toss a wok and toss a ladle. If she doesn't fail, I'm going to eat zich asterisk T live. The bullet screen was instantly filled with arguments. The seaweed and egg soup was soon ready. Xiangyi scooped a bowl for Annan. Annan looked embarrassed. The soup was supposed to go with his rice, but he had already finished his rice. Xiangyi didn't have a big appetite. Recently, she had been deliberately eating more in order to gain some weight. She was 165 meters tall, and her body was less than 40 kilograms. She looked beautiful on camera, but in reality, she was so thin that she was a little out of shape. Her body was so weak that even tossing a ladle felt tiring. She generously shared half a bowl of rice with Annan, which moved him to tears. Good girl, I want to be your manager for the rest of your life. I'll accompany you through all obstacles, conquer the world, and reach the peak with you. Xiangyi was speechless. That's not necessary. I just want to sleep in the fields. Meanwhile, at the headquarters of Muyao's satellite TV. I was the one who prepared the variety show, Heartbeat, first. Why should someone else film it? I refuse to accept this. Li Jinyu was a director and scriptwriter in the variety team. His performance and ability had always been outstanding. In the early years, the few programs he did had good ratings, but as time passed, the programs slowly became outdated and had now been discontinued. Heartbeat was an idea that he had painstakingly come up with. It was positioned as a theme of love and life, allowing the male and female guests to live under the same roof and create small sparks of love in their daily interactions. But when he submitted the proposal, all he got was a cold notice. The station wanted to give the show to another director, Chen. Li Jinyu argued for a long time, but the boss in front of him, who had a receding hairline, kept evading him. His anger seemed to have hit a ball of cotton, and he felt extremely aggrieved. Little Li, for this show, it doesn't matter who acts in it. Besides, where do you have the connections and resources now? I heard that you even invited that pretty face, Xiangyi. This kind of A-lister is also a flop. You should settle down. Later on, I can arrange for you to be Director Chen's assistant. On one hand, he was suppressing them while on the other, he was showing them mercy. It seemed like he was leaving them some leeway, but in fact he was fearless. He was sure that Li Jinyu would not leave Muyao TV. However, he forgot that everyone had a bottom line. Bam! Li Jinyu threw down his resignation letter on the spot under his boss's shocked gaze. Walking out of the TV station, he took a deep breath and dialed the number of an old friend of many years. Brother Sure, no, Father Sure, Master Sure, can you help me? Chapter 14. Annan didn't expect that his impromptu livestream would cause such a stir on a well-known gossip forum. Let's see how good the fried rice made by a certain female star surnamed X is today. There were all sorts of replies. Her cooking is so, but I'm really hungry after watching it. Surname X? Isn't it just that little vase Xiangyi? Is she crying again? To be honest, her face is really good looking. Even if she cries, I like her face. Isn't it enough to ride on our Sure Ingdi's popularity? She's even coming to the forum to fish. She really loves marketing. F***ck, why did I have to search for the replay? I said I was on a diet and wouldn't eat at night. In the end, I ordered fried rice and ate happily while watching the video. At this moment, Annan was lying on a rocking chair, holding a transparent salad bowl in his arms. Inside were pieces of iced watermelon that Xiangyi had dug out. He didn't know what kind of watermelon this was. Not only was it sweet, but it also had very few seeds. Annan simply couldn't be bothered to spit out the seeds and just stuffed them into his mouth, unable to stop. Xiangyi was sitting next to him, reading a book with a wool blanket draped over her shoulders. Her delicate eyebrows were lowered, and her hair had been dyed black and tied into a bun at some point. A few strands of hair were fluffy and scattered around her temples, making her look even more girly than when she deliberately tied her hair into two ponytails. Annan's stomach was round from eating before he remembered the purpose of his visit today. Ahem, good girl, you've already rested for a week. Why don't we work harder and go back to work for a few days? In terms of ability, Annan wasn't the most outstanding agent, but he was really patient and willing to coax people. Many small-time artists wanted to work under him. Xiangyi flipped a page of the book in her hand and said gently, I've already prepared the liquidated damages and a lawyer. As soon as her little uncle heard that she wanted to quit the industry, he gave her the contact information of the Xiang family's legal team. The contract she signed was an overbearing one. If she had a good lawyer, the liquidated damages wouldn't be as exaggerated as 100 million yuan. Her own money would be enough. However, her little uncle still transferred a sum of money. He probably gave her all his private savings. An Nan was stunned. You really want to quit the industry? You fell out with your family in order to enter the entertainment industry. Isn't being an artist your dream? Xiangyi shook her head. Perhaps it was the dream of the person who had taken over her body, but in her opinion, that person only seemed to enjoy the popularity and attention of being an artiste and did not care much about her professional abilities. Otherwise, she would not have made so many jokes and ended up as a variety show star. While they were talking, An Nan's phone rang. He picked it up and listened for a while before looking at Xiangyi. It's Director Li. He wants to talk to you. Xiangyi gave a non-committal reply. An Nan turned on the speaker, and from the receiver came Director Li's excited voice. Miss Xiangyi, I'd like to invite you to partner with Shi Yingdi in my new variety show. Chapter 15. Xiangyi raised her eyebrows. Shi Sui. That's right, that's him. Li Jianyu's tone was relaxed, as if a heavy burden had been lifted from his shoulders. Let me tell you the specifics. It's similar to the style of the previous variety show, but this time it's more life-oriented. The main content is that you and Shi Yingdi live under the same roof, planting flowers, raising fish, and so on. Then, every episode, we'll invite flying guests over. The most important thing is that this variety show will be completely live. This is the first in the industry. Sounds good, but in terms of format, isn't it a little too dull? Xiangyi voiced her own thoughts. Li Jianyu chatted with her excitedly. Meanwhile, An Nan was completely dumbfounded. Variety show? Shi Yingdi? Am I hallucinating because I'm too full? So actually, netizens are very tolerant of the subject matter. Some people like to see face slapping, while others like to see peaceful times. Some people think that each has its own audience, but I don't think that's the case. In fact, sometimes there are overlapping audiences. As Li Jianyu spoke, he suddenly exclaimed, I just sent the video of you cooking egg fried rice to Papa Shi. Cough, Shi Yingdi. He liked your Weibo post. I didn't know that you two were so close. To be honest, he was the one who recommended you to me. An Nan. Weibo likes? Recommended to be on a variety show. He could already imagine how much bloodshed there would be on Weibo at this moment. Wait, why was Shi Yingdi willing to be on a variety show with Xiangyi? He had never been on a variety show before, and since it was a live variety show, this variety show's attention would definitely be unparalleled. Could it be that after Shi Yingdi was defiled, he fell in love with Xiangyi? However, Xiangyi's thought was that Shi Sui might like her cooking. She was originally prepared to terminate her contract, but suddenly felt that she could still live a little longer. She could feed her white moonlight until it was white and chubby. I have no problem with that. As for the specific details, please communicate with my manager, Xiangyi said politely. Okay. Li Jianyu happily hung up the phone. Initially, he had asked Shi Sui for help in introducing an artist to him. However, he had not expected that Shi Sui would agree to participate in the live broadcast of the variety show. This was a glimmer of hope at the end of the tunnel. Li Jianyu refreshed the Weibo post where Shi Sui liked the egg fried rice video and saw that there were more than 10,000 comments. Li Jianyu sighed. Daddy Shi is indeed my daddy Shi. He's even more popular than the top celebrities on Weibo. Not to mention Shi Sui's fans, even the netizens were dumbfounded. His hand must have slipped. I don't believe it, the account must have been hacked. I'm crying, sober up, you're the best actor. Why did he like an 18th tier female celebrity? Do you not have a heart? 2 days later, a variety show called Two Under One Roof officially announced the guest list, which instantly caused a sensation. Chapter 16. Two Under One Roof v. The country's first live-streaming lifestyle variety show, Two Under One Roof, is scheduled to air on May 1st. He's a powerful actor Shi Sui v, and she's a new singer full of energy Xiangyi. Life is beautiful when you don't forget your original intentions. This summer, let's Xing Chinap. After the official announcement, Shi Sui's studio was the first to forward the post with the caption, Shi Sui Sisters, don't miss out on his first variety show. Shi Sui Sisters was the name of Shi Sui's fans, which was a homophone of his name. As soon as the studio stamped the post, the fans who had been holding back suddenly rejoiced as if they were celebrating the new year. Ah, it's finally open for business. It's Shi Sui's first time on a variety show. I'm going crazy. I can hear the sound of geese within a 500-meter radius. It's a live stream. It's a live stream. Doesn't that mean we can watch Shi Sui 24 hours a day? Isn't it just an app? I'll download it, okay? The reactions of the passers-by were, I know Shi Sui, Shi Sui. Who is this Jianghu? Is there such a person in the entertainment industry? It must be hard on the official Weibo account. They must be going bald from thinking of the title, New Singer, for the Vase Fairy. Singer? Has the Vase Fairy ever released a song before? She has. She's the guide to the ghost section of the shabby station. It said that she angered 10 sound engineers into leaving when she recorded that song. Those who say she's a singer are overpraising her. She's clearly a small-time variety show star who doesn't have any sense of variety. She's so awkward and she cries all the time. I'm so annoyed by her. Whenever she appears, I have to speed up the video twice or fast forward. I feel physically uncomfortable whenever I see her. All of a sudden, the popularity of Two Under One Roof rose steadily even before it started airing, and it was listed as one of the most searched terms. Hashtag Shi Sui's variety show, hashtag Shi Sui's business, hashtag what the hell is the Vase Fairy hashtag, at the Xiang residence. Jianghu received a WeChat message from Nan, asking her to forward the official Weibo post. She took a sip of the medicinal cuisine without a change in her expression, and then opened the app. She didn't use Weibo much, so it took her a while. Jianghu, be there or be square. Many people had been keeping an eye on her. When they saw her post on Weibo, they immediately rushed over. That's it? He's so cold, he doesn't even need to send an expression. Is he trying to act like a big shot? Blurg, you want to see our brother? Are you worthy? Take Shi Sui away but don't ask him out. Our Shi Sui and this person are just partners, don't cue us. Someone, please conduct yourself with dignity. Even if you want to create hype, you have to follow the rules. If you want to ride on our Shi Indie's popularity, you can kneel down now. In-depth analysis of the Vase Fairy's intention of not leaving until we meet. 1. She's declaring her sovereignty. I'm going to film a variety show with him. Are you guys jealous? 2. She brought up the old matter and reminded everyone of the scandal of her entering Shi Sui's room some time ago. 3. She expressed her love across the air and deliberately pretended to be cold, but in fact, she wanted to attract Shi Sui's attention. Tiske, I really think she's a very scheming woman. Jianghu casually glanced at the comments and tossed her phone aside. She had always been someone who didn't care about what others thought. She didn't take it to heart when others mocked and talked about her because of the words and actions of the person who had occupied her body in the past year. Life was to be lived for oneself, not for others to see. Just as the netizens were mocking Jianghu, the fans realized that the number of people Shi Sui's followers had increased from 0 to 1. Who's the first person Shi Sui follows on Weibo? Countless people excitedly opened the post, only to be blinded by the words, Jianghu. Chapter 17. Jianghu? Vase Fairy? The fans refused to believe it. They closed the page and reopened it. *CK. Shi Indie had really followed Jianghu. Ever since Shi Sui joined Weibo, he had rarely interacted with his fans and didn't even advertise much. Apart from promoting movies when they were released, Weibo was barren. Yet, the first person he followed on Weibo was Jianghu, an 18th-tier actress. You there? Brother, did your account get hacked? I don't believe it, I don't believe it. The last, was a slip of the hand. This time, it must be the same. To be honest, Shi Sui Zai isn't going to be an idol. He's not young anymore. His mother fans still hope that he can find a good home, but at least find someone of equal social status. I'm so angry that I'm about to cry. Xiangyi actually didn't follow our Indi. Why? What right does she have to give our brother the cold shoulder? The fans' reactions were intense, but the marketing accounts were amused. Just as they were worrying about the KPI at the end of the month, Indi had delivered the melon to them. They really wanted to send him a banner saying that he was a helpful and exemplary seedling. Xing Yao Entertainment. F***CK, why are you following my little niece? The netizens are getting the wrong idea. They think you like her. Xiang Feng's voice could be heard from the office. Shui was sitting on the sofa, his black shirt rolled up, revealing his muscular forearms. His wrist bones were clear, and his fingers were long and slender. His smoking posture was languid and dispirited, creating a unique and charming temperament. My hand slipped, Shui said lazily, his voice a little hoarse from the smoke. How about I unfollow you? Xiang Feng panicked. Don't. If you really unfollow me, little Xiangyi will be scolded to death by the netizens. But then again, aren't you going to plant flowers? Why do I feel like you're planting a radish in my office? Shui's contract with the company gave him a lot of freedom. He also had his own studio. In short, he could act in movies whenever he wanted. If he didn't want to act, he could take a break for a year or so. However, in Xiang Feng's impression, Shui was still quite a model worker. He didn't care about being pretentious. As long as the script was good enough, he was willing to act in a TV series. He also didn't care about the position. It didn't matter if he was a supporting actor. He would even help his agency nurture newcomers. Xiang Feng felt that he was really burning incense to thank the heavens for signing him. In the past, the two of them could only see each other once a month. But recently, for some reason, they could see each other every day. Shui said, "It's quiet here." Is that so? Xiang Feng was skeptical. His phone vibrated. He looked down and said cheerfully, "Hee, little Xiangyi is bringing me lunch again. She said that today's menu is spicy chicken, honey chicken wings, and shrimp egg custard." Shui calmly put out his cigarette. However, he heard Xiang Feng say, "Okay, then I won't send you off. Go eat in the company cafeteria." Shui? Chapter 18. Shui raised her eyebrows. "What did you say?" "Say it again." Xiang Feng said confidently, "Xiangyi is my niece. She brought me food, so of course it's for me to eat. We're brothers, so don't even think about taking away a grain of rice from me." In the Xiang family, every time little Xiangyi cooked, he had to fight with the group of sister-obsessed people for food. If he was a little slower, he wouldn't even get to lick the plate. Now that he finally had the chance to eat alone, Xiang Feng wasn't stupid. He wasn't going to share it with Shui. Just then, the secretary knocked on the door and came in. She placed a lunchbox on Xiang Feng's table and respectfully said, "Mr. Xiang, this is from the Xiang family's driver." Xiang Feng happily opened it. There were 3 home-cooked dishes, a purple rice mixed grain rice, and a small pudding. It was creamy white and smooth and was bouncy with a spoon. Xiang Feng, must be the happiest man in the world. "Mr. Shi, this is for you." Only then did Xiang Feng notice that the secretary was holding a lunchbox that was obviously twice the size of the usual one. She placed it in front of Shui. His niece brought food to Shui too? Shui lazily thanked her. After the secretary left, her ears were obviously red. This man's actions were really too good. Opening the lunchbox, Shui's eyes lit up with a smile. The handsome and gentle man was now like a child showing off a toy, slowly taking out the lunchbox. In addition to the same spicy chicken, honey chicken wings, and shrimp egg custard as Xiang Feng's, there was also a spicy pickled fish and mushroom soup. And the portions were all more than Xiang Feng's. There were even 4 small puddings. For Xiang Feng's heart instantly shattered into pieces. Why do you have more food than me, what? Xiang Feng felt wronged, but Shui's gaze swept over each dish in turn. Sour, sweet, spicy, and fresh, everything was there. There was even a sticky note with the ingredients and seasonings used in each dish. She asked him to read it carefully to prevent allergies. Her handwriting was clear and elegant, with a natural strength of character, but it also revealed inadvertent gentleness. Shi Sui's thin lips curved upward and he picked up his chopsticks to taste. And so, Xiang Feng watched helplessly as a certain best actor, whose table manners were usually impeccable, picked up food faster and faster each time, although he wasn't wolfing down the food in an exaggerated manner. From his speed and demeanor, one could tell that he was very satisfied. Xiang Feng hurriedly finished his food and tiptoed to his side, ready to scrounge up a little pudding to eat. Shua. Shi Sui took away the kitty box containing the pudding at lightning speed. Xiang Feng howled, "You have 4. You can't finish it, so what's wrong with sharing one with me? Are we still brothers?" Shi Sui's expression did not change. He returned the words that Xiang Xiaoyan had said to him just now. "We're brothers." "Xiang Feng, I'll put it in the fridge and eat it next time." Shi Sui paused and smiled. "After all, I have 4 puddings and you only have 1. Xiang Feng, 10,000 arrows pierced his heart and all his hopes turned to dust. That was it. Chapter 19. Miao TV. The director's angry voice came from the conference room. "What are you guys doing? Why did such an outstanding talent like Li Jinyu resign? Why did he change the variety show proposal he submitted to another director?" The others looked at each other but did not dare to say anything. Everyone knew what was going on. It was nothing more than a factional dispute in the station. Everyone was on the same side, but Li Jinyu did not. That was why he was pranked and the variety show was given to Director Qin. But who would have thought that Li Jinyu was so capable that he could persuade Shi Sui to participate in his variety show? Previously, the director did not care about him, but now he had become an outstanding talent. "Ahem, director, this matter has already come to this. Instead of worrying about this, why don't we think about how to bring the popularity back to our new variety show?" The bald boss who forced Li Jinyu to leave said with a smile. The director said with a straight face, "Tell me, what do you think?" Li Jinyu's 2 Under One Roof variety show only has Shi Sui and Xiangyi as permanent guests. Although Shi Sui is popular, Xiangyi is just a D-list celebrity. In addition, I've investigated and found that the guests they've contacted so far are all 2nd and 3rd tier celebrities and some old artists. Get to the point. Okay. The man wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and sped up. "Our Heartbeat can be compared to their new variety show. Isn't it just a live variety show? We can do it too. And we can do it before they do. In addition, our guest resources are also richer than theirs. We can invite some popular idols or artists who are highly talked about. This way, our Heartbeat will be able to make a name for itself, while their 2 Under One Roof will have nothing to show for it other than Shi Sui. We'll beat them at their own game, and the popularity and viewership ratings will ultimately belong to us." Director Chen echoed, "Yeah, they're just a small-scale variety show. How can it compare to our variety show produced by our satellite TV? We can adopt a live broadcast model and use the material to edit it into a full-length film and broadcast it on the weekend during prime time. We can ride on the momentum of the live variety show and take advantage of it." The deputy director was a strong career woman. She was dressed in an exquisite and professional suit. She frowned. That's not very appropriate. They were the ones who suggested the live broadcast variety show. The bald man retorted, "So what? Don't tell me that if others eat, the rest of us can't eat?" The deputy station head sneered, "You're more like a beggar." "Hey, you've gone too far. That's a personal attack." Seeing that both parties were about to quarrel, the station head said in a low voice, "That's enough. Let's do as we discussed. The station will give you a green light. You must get the variety show Heartbeat out as soon as possible." Miao TV was known for its wealth and efficiency. In less than 3 days, it had already made an official announcement on Weibo. "Heartbeat V. In that second of Heartbeat, I will only smile for you." The new live streaming variety show, Heartbeat, will set sail on Miao TV on April 30th. Welcome almighty idol Jiang Chen, shiny lead singer Qin Wanyan, young actor Fu Jin, gymnastics contestant Yu Miao Miao to join our sweet little house. A pair of mystery guests will appear in every episode. If you repost this Weibo now, you can participate in the lucky draw and get a chance to visit the sweet little house in person. Chapter 20. Muyao TV had a professional marketing department with rich experience in new media operations. They had even organized an interactive lucky draw event. The 4 contestants in the official announcement were the hottest celebrities in the circle. Just a few minutes after the announcement, the comments had already exploded. Ah! Screaming at the top of my lungs. Jiangchen Jiangchen Jiangchen. Hubby hubby hubby. Qin Xian Xian pretty sister, please get to know her. Her representative works, Summer Stars, and Heart, are beautiful and sweet, don't miss them. Sob sob sob. Fu Jian's role as the crown prince is hard to appease. My brother is participating in a variety show, so take care of yourself. The light of gymnastics you meow meow. Nation's sister you meow meow. Vitality girl you meow meow. Please keep your eyes on the April 30th episode of Heartbeat. The fans of the 4 websites collectively took action, controlling the comments, tagging, reposting, and promoting. With Muyao TV adding fuel to the fire, it instantly became a hot search. At the Xiang residence. Phew! Nan wiped the sweat off his head and continued to clean the pigsty. Ever since he ate Xiangyi's egg fried rice, Nan had been running to the Xiang residence every day. He claimed that he was there to talk about work, but in fact, he would do anything for food. He had initially resisted when Xiangyi asked him to clean the pigsty, but when he heard her say that the pork chops were tender and tasty, Nan smiled sweetly at the group of chubby piglets. After taking care of the piglets' hygiene, Nan, who was a heavy cell phone addict, logged onto Weibo and was immediately stunned by the overwhelming publicity of Heartbeat. How can they be so shameless? Not far away, Xiangyi was tending to a row of newly raised strawberry sprouts. The leaves were lush, and her fingers were white as she carefully trimmed the leaves. It seemed that no matter what happened, she could remain calm. Hearing Annan's curses, she looked up in confusion. What's wrong? Annan told her about Muyao TV's manipulation in a few words. He was so angry that his colorful hair stood up. Not only are they doing a live variety show, they're even broadcasting it a day before us. Aren't they deliberately trying to scam us? Moreover, the audience generally didn't think so much and would have a preconceived impression. At that time, everyone might even think that 2 Under One Roof was trying to scam. Xiangyi nodded and asked, "Are you hungry? Do you want more food?" "Yeah, I'm a little hungry," Annan blurted out subconsciously. When he reacted, he stomped his feet anxiously. "What time is it now? Why are you still thinking about food?" Xiangyi looked innocent. "But eating is a very important thing." She smiled. "Do you want to eat pork ribs? The soup is very fragrant." Annan swallowed his saliva and was about to agree when his phone buzzed and vibrated. He looked down and his pupils instantly shook. "Oh my God, it's over, it's over. We're really done for this time." On Weibo, a marketing account revealed that the filming location of 2 Under One Roof had been exposed in advance, and a large number of Shui's fans had gathered nearby, which had affected the normal filming. In other words, the variety show couldn't go according to plan. As a result, 2 Under One Roof didn't even have the possibility of airing on time, let alone earlier than Heartbeat. Just as director Jianghu was so worried that his hair was falling out, Xiangyi's agent, Annan, gave him a video call. The call was connected. The first thing that entered Jianghu's ears was a very loud slurping and gulping sound. Then, there was a satisfied burp. Jianghu was speechless. Is it even human to perform a mukbang broadcast for a director who's about to go bald from worry? Chapter 21. Director Li. Annan's voice was cheerful. "Come and drink some pork ribs." Cough. "Pork rib soup without pork ribs?" "I'm waiting for you." Jianghu said helplessly, "I don't have time, Mr. Annan. Please don't disturb me." This little colorful hair has no sense of propriety. They don't even have a venue for the live broadcast of the variety show. At such a critical moment, how can I be in the mood to eat? On the screen, half of the girl's delicate and fair face appeared. Her voice was soft and calm. "Director Li, you don't look so good. Have you had lunch?" Why do this manager and artist only know how to eat? However, he knew that the two of them were being kind. He rubbed his eyebrows tiredly. I'll just order takeout or eat instant noodles later. I have to find a way to settle the venue and see if there are any suitable places in the countryside. Xiangyi, Two Under One Roof is a lifestyle show, right? That's right. Li Jianyu was puzzled. What's wrong? Xiangyi continued, you need enough space to grow flowers, vegetables, fish, and cook, right? Li Jianyu, well, these farming elements are actually very popular. Nowadays, not to mention young people in the city, even young people in the countryside may not necessarily have farmed before. Speaking of which, why are you asking this? Xiangyi, who said that farming has to be done in the countryside? Xiangyi pointed to the back of the villa and said the words of the richest woman in her softest voice. My house has fields, ponds, and farms. Come and film at my house. Li Jinyu stared at the boundless vegetable field and the shadowy farm in a daze. He deeply and vividly understood what it meant to turn the tables around and survive in a hopeless situation. In just a few days, Heartbeat became popular before it even started airing. It was far more popular and discussed than Two Under One Roof. Miao TV was overjoyed. It would only start broadcasting tomorrow, but everyone seemed to have locked in the quarterly bonus in advance. Director Chen, who was in charge of filming, was even more proud. Every day, he walked to the headquarters as if he was walking on the wind. Good morning, Director Chen. Good morning, Director Chen. Director Chen is so handsome today. In the elevator, Director Chen enjoyed the crowd's praise and couldn't help but feel a little smug. Ding! The elevator opened and he walked to his office. The compliments were gone, replaced by strange looks from the crowd. Sensing that something was wrong, he stopped and asked an employee at a nearby desk, what happened? Can you directors? Two Under One Roof posted a notice on Weibo a few minutes ago, saying that the show will start at 9:30 p.m. in advance. What did you say? This is impossible. How could a variety show without a venue be broadcasted? It should be true. I just saw Shi Yingdi repost it. Director Chen snatched his phone, and the screen happened to stop at Weibo. Shi Sui, repost Weibo. Two Under One Roof v. Two Under One Roof will have its first test broadcast at 9:30 a.m. today. Don't miss it. Beep beep, put on your seatbelt and set off with our Shi Sui Yingdi. Today was Saturday. As soon as the official Weibo released the link to the live streaming room, the number of viewers had already exceeded 10,000. Director Chen glanced at the time with an ugly expression. It was April 29th, 9:27 a.m. No, Heartbeat hasn't been broadcasted yet, so why is Two Under One Roof being broadcasted in advance? How dare they? How can they do this? Asterisk full 4,200 recommendation votes plus extra chapters. Good night. Chapter 22. It was so quiet that even a pin drop could be heard. Director Chen took several deep breaths to calm himself down. Pretending to be calm, he said, since they've started the broadcast, let's see what they can do. Someone immediately went to work, connecting the equipment to the LCD screen that occupied most of the wall. Director Chen picked a swivel chair and sat down, his face as calm as water. Wasn't it just an early broadcast? Without a good venue and lineup, what could they use to compete? This time, Miao TV had invested a lot. They had found a small mountain village near South City that had a sea of bamboo. The scenery and privacy were top-notch. In terms of lineup, Jiang Chen was the top celebrity in the entertainment industry in the past 2 years, a hot little fresh meat. Qin Wanyan was the lead singer of the girl group Shiny. Since the group's establishment, the members had been constantly fighting with each other and were extremely popular. As for the other pair, Fu Jiyin and Yu Miao Miao, the two had their own topics of discussion. Some time ago, the two had been photographed by paparazzi wearing matching watches. Now, netizens were looking forward to them announcing their relationship on Heartbeat. Any one of these four people couldn't compare to Shi Sui, but 4 against 2, it was a different story. Not only did Xiangyi have a bad reputation online, but she also had a bad reputation in real life. When she debuted, she was quite popular, but she was late, arrogant, worrisome, and didn't know how to respect others. In Director Chen's opinion, Xiangyi was Shi Sui's burden. With her character, it was possible that she would drag down the entire variety show. So, he just had to wait and see her make a fool of herself. Director Chen comforted himself in his heart. The hour hand turned to 9:30. In the live broadcast room, the screen turned from black to light. The first thing that caught everyone's eyes was the spacious and empty living room. It was decorated in cool colors with only a few decorations highlighting the owner's taste. Other than that, there was no extra debris, like an exquisite model room. It was beautiful, but it lacked a sense of life. The lights in the room were on, but it was a little dim. A few staff members could be vaguely heard, followed by a deep magnetic voice that reached everyone's ears through the sound recording equipment. "It's starting." Because the staff didn't turn off the bullet screen, the big screen was completely blocked by netizens' comments in the blink of an eye. "So good, so good. Mom, my ears are pregnant. Cameraman, take a picture of him. I'll give you an extra drumstick for dinner. Sure sway. My sisters are sure sway." I let out a super loud groundhog scream. Director Chen's heart skipped a beat. He seemed to have underestimated Sure Sway's popularity. The staff hurriedly turned off the bullet screen, but Director Chen said, "Leave it on. We can see the real-time feedback from the netizens." Okay. The bullet screen was adjusted to not affect the viewing experience. Meanwhile, the camera panned to a tall and slender figure. Schwa. The curtains of the floor-to-ceiling windows were pulled open, and light spilled in. The camera was exposed for a moment, and then focused clearly on Sure Sway's hand. His well-defined fingers glowed with a cold white luster under the sunlight, faintly revealing light green blood vessels. The lines and contours were impeccable. He turned around. He was wearing a simple white shirt that was buttoned to the top. A pair of gold-rimmed glasses rested on his straight nose, and he smiled at the camera. "Good morning." It was just a smile, but it was a vivid interpretation of what a refined scum was. Chapter 23. The netizens watching the live stream were going crazy. "I can do it again, sisters. This man is so damn charming. It's so immersive. I've even thought of a confinement center. Hubby, when are you going to marry me?" Miao HQ. Director Chen snorted. Li Jianyu is showing off again. No one else dared to chime in. They were all colleagues and were very familiar with Li Jianyu's style. He was good at shooting beautiful scenes and could make simple daily scenes feel like they were in an idol drama. The camera switching was also very artistic. Everyone felt that he was the most suitable person to film Heartbeat. Unfortunately, on the other side, in the living room of the Xiang residence, the morning's livestream plan was to start from Sure Sway's house and go all the way to the Xiang residence. It would show the Xiang family's manor and vegetable fields before finally showing Xiangyi's face. So at this time, Annan was happily watching the livestream with Xiangyi. "Oh my God," as expected of Sure Sway. That smile just now made my heart race. "He's so good at it." Annan lamented. After waiting for a few seconds and not receiving a response, he turned his head. Wow, Xiangyi wasn't paying attention at all. She was slowly removing the seeds from the hawthorn. The corner of Annan's mouth twitched. "My dear, can you be a little more career-minded?" "Xiangyi, well, what do you think counts as career-minded? Just dress up. Look at you, it's already past 9 and you still haven't done your hair and makeup. And look at your clothes, you're not planning to wear this for the live stream, are you? Let's go, I'll help you pick out a pretty dress. Wait for me to finish." Annan was genuinely confused. Where had his dear, who loved to look beautiful to the point of taking care of her heels, gone? The live stream continued. Although Sure Sway's nanny van was spacious, it still felt cramped with the 2 cameramen and other equipment inside. The camera was almost on his face, but he was still very cooperative. First, he chatted about his daily life, then answered the netizens' questions. "Do you have any ideas for a new movie?" "Not yet, I'll be taking a break for a while." "Why did you accept this variety show?" "Well, it's because the concept of this variety show just happens to match my thoughts." Daily life. Sure Sway paused and raised her eyebrows. "Are you that curious about me?" The bullet screen was filled with a series of "I'm dead" comments. Sure Sway smiled. "It's my daily life now. Li Jianyu continued, our variety show really doesn't have a script. We just want to show everyone the most realistic life, the most natural day. In addition, our variety show has a large number of advertising slots for rent. We welcome all sponsors to sponsor us. Come on, Dadish. Ahem, sure sway, come on and give us a talk show. Wow, the director is so cute. Director Li is as humorous as ever, I love him. Did I hear that right? Did Lindy just call him Dad? Huh? Sure Sway looked helpless, but she still compromised gently. 2 people in one room, 3 meals a day, 4 seasons a day. That's what I've always wanted. Your advertisement is my honor. Please contact the production team. Thank you. Muyao headquarters. Director Chen asked, have you found anything? What kind of sponsorship do they have now? One is a car brand, and the other is a watch brand. Sure Sway is the spokesperson for these 2 brands. Other than that, there's also the Xingchen app that Director Li is working with. Director Chen sneered. Just as I thought. These days, without sponsorship, there was no money. It seemed that 2 people in one room could only go for the low-budget route. They would probably be filming in a shabby venue later. Chapter 24. Half an hour later. The black nanny van arrived at the entrance of the Xiang family home. The crew members got into position, and the camera panned from inside the van to the entrance of the Xiang family home. The black iron gate that was covered with roses and orchids slowly opened, and the early summer breeze rustled the petals. It was breathtakingly beautiful on camera. Further ahead, there was a garden that looked like Alice in Wonderland with lush greenery and flowers everywhere. The sound of water flowing could be heard from the fountain, and a few white pigeons flew past, forming a perfect composition with the 3-story villa behind. The netizens were shocked. What kind of idol drama is this? Did the production team find a villa for filming? Although everyone was surprised, they didn't pay much attention to it. Even if they hadn't eaten pork before, they had at least seen pigs run. Weren't the male leads in TV dramas supposed to have a villa with a pool and a fountain? In the next second, the camera panned, and the endless vegetable field was reflected on everyone's screen. Huh? Am I seeing things? Are these vegetables? I think I see wheat and rapes too. Is that a farm in the distance? Why are there cows and wild boars? There's even a pond. There's a vegetable greenhouse. There's a glass greenhouse. But the netizens who originally thought that the filming location was just a villa were shocked beyond words. There was land, vegetables, fish, and poultry. This was simply fulfilling the idyllic dreams of countless people. There was a villa, a garden, and a fountain, which at the same time satisfied the dreams of countless people. At this moment, the 2 were magically combined. The live stream had only started for half an hour, and everyone was already looking forward to the next content. Wouldn't it be better to pick vegetables and fruits? Wouldn't it be better to have afternoon tea in the greenhouse? Even if they didn't do anything and just lay there, it would feel so good. Thank you to the production team for taking me to experience the lives of the rich. I'm considered living in a luxurious mansion and farming, right? I can only say one thing. 2 under one roof is awesome. Director Li is awesome. I'm really impressed. How did the production team find such a godly location? How are other variety shows going to survive? At the headquarters of Muyao, Director Chen's expression could no longer be described as ugly. His pupils dilated as he stared at the screen in disbelief. How could it be? Was there such a place in Nanjing? Why had he never heard of it? Why did Li Jinyu find it and not him? He suddenly realized that with 2 under one roof, as a comparison, the so-called Bamboo Sea Mountain Village would look like a joke when Heartbeat started airing tomorrow. Li Jianyu understood the psychology of the netizens very well. He asked Sure Sui to walk around in the name of familiarizing herself with the environment. In the comments, everyone was satisfied. It's about time to go back. Sure Sui pushed up his gold-rimmed glasses and said in a sexy voice, Miss Xiangyi is still waiting for us. The comments section was visibly filled with hostility. So annoying, I don't want to see her at all, okay? What's so nice about the vase fairy? You might as well look at the garden. I'm begging Shi Ingdi to walk around again. Gidge, this woman really doesn't deserve to be on the show with you, wake up. This female star with the surname X is awesome. I wonder how much money she spent to appear on this variety show with Shi Sui. TSK, it's not like she spent the money herself. She can just sleep with a few sugar daddies and get what she wants. Director, if you dare move the camera to Jianghu for even a second, I'll quit the live stream and never watch this variety show again. Chapter 25. Shi Sui, who was in the middle of filming, couldn't see the comments, but Li Jianyu did. He gestured at Shi Sui with a worried expression. Shi Sui nodded slightly, indicating that she got it. Li Jianyu was still thinking about whether he should adjust the livestream plan and let Jianghu appear when the guests arrived in the afternoon. It wasn't that he didn't want to give Jianghu some screen time, but he was worried that Jianghu would have a mental breakdown on the first day of the trial. How was he going to film later? To his surprise, Shi Sui looked calm and composed as she strode towards the villa. Li Jianyu was speechless. Daddy Shi, you can't walk so fast just because you have long legs. The comments section became more and more unsightly, and the official administrator of the Xingchen app had no choice but to ban some accounts. Unexpectedly, the netizens were even more conflicted. Even the officials have stepped in. As expected of the vase fairy. I don't want to see her for even a second. She's probably going to cry again later. If she dies, she'll probably cry at her mother's funeral. I just don't understand. How can an artiste with no acting skills, no singing skills, and no sense of variety show make so much money in the entertainment industry? Our researchers will be so disappointed when they see this. Li Jianyu was extremely worried, while Director Chen at the Muyao headquarters took a sip of coffee and cheered himself up a little. Shi Sui's popularity was expected. The venue was good, which was unexpected, but also reasonable. It was probably because of Shi Sui's connections. If the first 2 points were both plus points, then the biggest minus point was about to come. This was going to ruin the variety show. Director Chen was full of expectations for Jianghu. He wished he could become the cameraman and rush up to Jianghu with his camera. He wanted to use that weird woman to persuade the audience to leave. Shi Sui's legs were long and her strides were big. She soon entered the villa. Unlike the cool colors of Shi Sui's house, the interior of the villa was warm and cozy. The furniture was all made of raw wood. It was exquisite but not luxurious. It had a sense of design but didn't make people feel that it was overdone. The place was full of life. For example, there were moon-shaped pillows scattered on the sofa, and there was a row of fleshy succulents on the windowsill. There was even a string of cartoon-shaped wind chimes ringing on them. A place that was warm, full of life, soft, and could be called home. However, there was no sign of Jianghu. Shi Sui looked at An Nan, who was standing by the staircase. The camera followed him. An Nan scratched his head of multicolored hair and said, "Wait a moment, I'll be right there." The comments became even more dissatisfied. The vase fairy knows that she can only rely on her looks to make a living, so she's frantically changing her makeup and hair. Are you kidding me? Shi Ingdi was a senior. How could he let a senior and the staff wait for him? The most confusing behavior of the year. You don't have the life of a princess, but you still have princess syndrome? He wanted to ask the vase fairy if she wanted to act like a big shot. How many keys? Amidst the scolding, a clear and gentle female voice sounded from the direction of the kitchen. You're here? Wash your hands, dinner is ready. The netizens in front of the screen? I heard that the comments are back. Babies, I miss you so much. Let me see your little paws, okay? Good night. Chapter 26. Not only were the netizens dumbfounded, but the staff were also dumbfounded. Li Jianyu was the first to react. He gestured to the cameraman and asked him to move the camera to Jianghu's side. In the kitchen, the slender and petite girl was holding a bowl in one hand and a wooden spoon in the other. She was wearing a simple white short-sleeved shirt and blue wide-legged jeans. Her top was slightly short, revealing the milky white skin at her waist. Her hair was tied into a neat bun with 2 daisy hairpins, making her look a bit playful and cute. However, her temperament was calm and composed, giving people a comfortable sense of gentleness. The comments immediately changed. Pretty girl, I can do it. The hairpins are so cute and the clothes are so pretty. Please show me the same style. F***ck, I can't hate her anymore. She has such a pretty face, why can't she be forgiven? Li Jianghu, who had secretly glanced at the comments, breathed a sigh of relief. He had to admit that Xiangyi's looks were really good, and most people were more tolerant of good-looking people. Seeing that they weren't moving, Xiangyi asked in confusion, "Aren't you going to eat? The taste of my cooking should be okay." After everyone relaxed, they finally noticed the rich aroma coming from the kitchen. Gulp. Some people began to swallow their saliva. For the sake of the live broadcast, most of the staff had only eaten a few bites of their breakfast. They didn't notice it when they were working in a tense state, but at this time, the aroma had aroused their cravings. "What did you cook that smells so good?" Shui asked. He had a strong aura and instantly brought back the pace of the filming. Everyone seemed to have woken up from a dream and swarmed into the kitchen. The kitchen was neatly arranged and the utensils were exquisite, completely subverting everyone's impression of Chinese kitchens. On the 3 stoves in the kitchen, there were casseroles slowly simmering over an open fire, with steam rising from them. "Seafood casserole porridge, want to try?" Xiangyi lifted the lid of the casserole pot, and the aroma several times stronger than before invaded everyone's nostrils. After the steam dissipated, the cameraman stepped forward and used the high-definition camera to broadcast the scene to countless netizens in real time. The rice was cooked until it was soft and sticky, white and translucent. It was decorated with mushrooms, dried scallops, crab meat, shrimp, peas, and corn kernels. The fire was still on, and the pot of porridge was bubbling. Through the screen, one could almost smell the fragrance of the rice. F***ck. Is the Vase Fairy's cooking skills that good? She's here. She's here to hype up her food persona again. One look and you can tell it's made by a chef. How could a celebrity know how to cook? To be honest, I'm really hungry. Sob sob, this porridge is too appetizing. Xiangyi scooped a bowl and naturally handed it to a certain direction first. Someone immediately mocked her on the bullet screen. You want to create hype with Sure Indie again? Why don't you take a look at your own status before creating hype? The next second, the camera captured the entire scene. Xiangyi handed the porridge to her manager, Anen. Netizens, what's going on? Shouldn't the first bowl of porridge be for Brother Shui? In the next second, Xiangyi filled the second and third bowls of porridge and handed them to Li Jianghu and the cameraman behind the camera. Netizens, what the hell? You're not giving the second and third bowls of porridge to Brother Shui? You woman, you've successfully attracted our attention. The next second, the young actor in a white shirt, ascetic and refined, personally filled a bowl of porridge for himself. Without changing his expression, he said to the camera, "It smells pretty good. You guys can't eat it, so I'll try it for you." Netizens? Chapter 27. All along, Shui had always given people the impression that he was low-key, reserved, and had the charisma of a movie king. Apart from showing up when the movie was released, he was basically invisible at all times. Even the most impressive paparazzi couldn't dig up any information about him. At this moment, the man who was standing in front of the camera and eating porridge leisurely was standing in front of the camera. The green porcelain bowl accentuated his well-defined knuckles, and his every movement was natural and elegant. His pale lips parted slightly as he tasted the porridge. His eyebrows relaxed and his thin lips curled up slightly. "It tastes good. Oh, so handsome, so handsome." A bowl of seafood porridge made him feel like a Michelin restaurant. Yes, 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 Shui is really the kind of person who makes everything around him seem expensive when he appears. Watching Shui eat makes me hungry too. Boo-hoo, I can't take it anymore. I need to order takeout for lunch in advance. Unlike Shui, who was calm and collected, Li Jianghu and the cameraman, Lao Zhang, both took a bite and their eyes immediately widened like copper bells. This is porridge? Is this really porridge? How can there be such delicious porridge in this world? The porridge that had just been scooped out was still scalding hot, and the two were panting from the heat. However, they couldn't stop eating one spoonful after another. Li Jianyu didn't even need a spoon as he held the bowl and poured the porridge down his throat. The other crew members were about to die from their greed. Although they, like the netizens, didn't believe that Xiangyi had personally made this porridge, they subconsciously thought that the arrogant and princess-like Xiangyi would never prepare a portion for them. However, they heard the girl say, "There are 3 pots of seafood porridge. I've counted, there should be enough. The cutlery is here, please divide it among yourselves." "Thank you, thank you." The crew members were speechless. "We actually have a share." Everyone was about to faint from this unexpected ecstasy. They hurriedly sent a few representatives to bring the pots to the side and divide the porridge. The netizens in the real-time bullet screen were all confused. Huh? What the hell? The vase fairy knows how to say thank you? Do you remember that she once hired 5 assistants to serve her? She even had to let others help her wipe her nose? Oh my god, she looks like a completely different person. She can't be pretending, right? Are you deliberately acting gentle and polite in front of Shui? However, no matter how hard the netizens racked their brains, they would never have thought that the person was still the same person, but the soul inside had changed. The staff members took turns to eat the porridge. Most of them were still busy. After all, the live broadcast was still going on. Li Jinyu motioned for Shui and Xiangyi to go to the living room. The 2 of them sat down on the sofa. Shui sat upright. As an actor, his figure and bearing were always impeccable. Xiangyi, on the other hand, leaned back on the sofa and placed a pillow on her waist. She said politely, "Welcome, Senior Shi." Shui nodded and said gently, "You don't have to be so polite. Just call me Shui." Xiangyi wanted to say something but stopped on second thought. She seemed to have realized that she was being filmed, so she cleared her throat and said, "You are my senior, and I am your junior. It's only right for me to call you senior." In fact, she really wanted to call Shui Zai Zai like her mother fans, but Annan said that it was more appropriate to call her senior. Little did she know that Annan was relieved, afraid that she would call him hubby, or darling, or something shocking. The conversation was very normal and warm, but the netizens in the live broadcast room were in an uproar. Isn't this sitting posture too relaxed? Does she really think this is her home? Oh my god, it's so scary to be uncultured. Is this how you use the word, welcome? Come on, she's the one who's welcome at your house. I'm convinced. This female star X is really arrogant and shameless. Chapter 28. I used to think that she was brainless, but now I think she doesn't have any brains at all. If it weren't for Shui and director Li, would she have come to film this show? Would she be able to live in such a nice house? I beg her to turn off her mic. She can be a pretty face, but as soon as she opens her mouth, all her good impressions are gone. Annan had already consciously avoided the camera and was secretly scrolling through the comments in a small corner. First, he posted dozens of comments praising Xiangyi, then realized that many people were scolding Xiangyi. He was so angry that he began to report them one by one. He roared in the comments, "This is Xiangyi's home to begin with." However, this comment was like a small drop of water flowing into the tide of tens of thousands of comments. In the blink of an eye, it was drowned out. After exchanging a few pleasantries, Xiangyi asked, "Senior, do you want some tea?" The girl took out the tea set, boiled the water, washed the tea, and brewed it. The spring tea from the pre-Qing Ming dynasty was like jade dew in a delicate and transparent glass cup. Her soft and fair fingertips moved skillfully and elegantly. Just this set of actions alone was pleasing to the eye. Then, he realized that the comments that had been silent just now were now in a formation. So what if she said something wrong? Of course she chose to forgive her. Annan was speechless. Fine, looks like I'm not the only one in this world. After Xiangyi brewed the tea, Shui didn't even have time to take a sip when she heard Li Jinyu say, "The guests have arrived early. Do you want to go and receive them?" Guests? Xiangyi remembered that Annan had mentioned to her that the flying guests invited on the first day of the pilot, the artists who only filmed 1 episode of the variety show, were a father and son pair, the famous director Yan Zhenhua and his youngest son Yan Nai. Yan Zhenhua had helped Shui a lot, and Shui often made guest appearances in his movies for free. The 2 of them could be said to have met a talent scout, which was also a good story in the film industry. Shi Sui got up. I'll go. Xiangyi recalled the information she found yesterday and took a small basket. I heard that director Yen likes to eat cherries. I'll go pick some for you. In fact, compared to Shi Sui's fans, there was someone who didn't want Xiangyi to appear on screen more than Xiangyi herself. She had passed through countless worlds and reached the pinnacle of starlight, but she had also been stepped on in the dirtiest mud. She had long since become indifferent to other people's likes and dislikes. At the end of the mission, she could have chosen to go to a higher plane or stay in any world she was about to cross. But Xiangyi chose to come back. To her, the only thing that mattered was her family. She was about to leave when Shi Sui stopped her. Miss Xiangyi, the manor is so big. Can we add each other on WeChat for convenience? Shi Sui had a pair of peach blossom eyes. When he looked at people with a faint smile, it always gave people the illusion that he was very affectionate. The netizens in the live stream. No. I do not agree. Brother, you are not allowed to add her. Xiangyi said indifferently, I don't use my phone much. If you want to talk to me, just give me a shout. The netizens in the stream? What the F***? IF** King sat up straight in bed. Is the vase fairy crazy? I don't know if the vase fairy is crazy or not, but this Shi Sui fan is going crazy. She actually rejected Shi Indi? Good night, recommendation votes full 1,000 plus chapters. Chapter 29. In the live stream, the netizens' question marks lined up one after another. Especially the fans, they suddenly realized that compared to Xiangyi sucking up to Shi Sui, what they didn't want to see was Xiangyi ignoring Shi Sui. This was simply a slap to Shi Indi's face, and also indirectly a slap to their faces. Li Jianyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and tried to smooth things over. Xiangyi, the manor is so big, you might not be able to hear me. There's this. Xiangyi rummaged through the rattan basket at the door. The staff at the scene and the live stream audience watched as she took out a loudspeaker. It was the kind of loudspeaker that had been set up by roadside stalls to broadcast Jiangnan Leather Factory closed down. Staff? Live stream audience? Silence, a strange silence. The crowd really couldn't associate this thing with the elegant and refined Shi Indi. To everyone's surprise, Shi Sui showed interest in the loudspeaker and even asked Xiangyi how to use it. Li Jianyu looked at this harmonious, teaching scene, his expression a little absent-minded. He already had a hunch that the uploaders in the ghost section would clip a video of Shi Sui holding the loudspeaker and playing wallets with the original price of 100, 200, 300, are all 20 yuan. To the music, Xiangyi only had to repeat it once, and Shi Sui had already learned it. Xiangyi was very satisfied with her Zai's learning ability. She cut a small daisy and gave it to him. Excellent. Shi Sui twirled the stem and lowered his slightly curved peach blossom eyes. Is this the little red flower? Xiangyi tilted her head and thought for a moment. Of course, she had to pamper her white moonlight. Thus, she promised, collect 5 flowers and you can order dishes. Shi Sui's eyes lit up. This scene was filmed by Li Jianyu himself, and the lighting engineer had also softened the light. The final image was warm and beautiful, with its own idol drama filter. The viewers in the live stream were satisfied, but the fans went crazy. I told you this woman was a scheming B***. The trap is too deep. Wah, our Shi Sui is too innocent. Don't be fooled by this bad woman's little flower. The vase fairy is too good. First, he cooked and pretended to be gentle. Then he played hard to get and refused to add her on WeChat. Then, he offered flowers in exchange for vegetables. Who could resist that? Meow TV. Director Chen's eyes were dark and gloomy. He lowered his head and quickly wrote something on the sticky note. Shi Sui walked to the gate just as the cars of the 2 guests arrived. Yan Zhenhua had a square face. When he wasn't smiling, he looked serious and fierce, but when he smiled, he looked a little silly. Now that he was middle-aged, his figure was inevitably a little out of shape. He had skewers in one hand and a beer belly in the other. Yan Nai, who was beside him, had a thin build. His facial features were good-looking, but his cheeks were a little round and chubby. Dressed in a sporty and casual style, he gave off a youthful vibe. Director Yen, long time no see. Shi Sui took the initiative to greet him. Yen Zhenhua smiled brightly and patted him on the shoulder. After exchanging a few pleasantries, he had Yen Nai greet him. Yen Nai hadn't officially debuted yet, so he looked a little shy in front of the camera. Hello, Uncle Shi. Does it make you sound old by calling him that? Why don't you call him Big Brother? Yen Zhenhua teased. Shi Sui gently said, let him be. Just call him a kid. I'm old enough to be an uncle anyway. The live comments, little brother is so cute. Debut online. I want Shirindi to call me a kid too. You're only 27 years old. You're not old at all. You're big brother, not uncle. Chapter 30. Because they were old acquaintances and good friends, the atmosphere was very harmonious. When they entered the manor, the Yen father and son, who had seen the world, couldn't help but be amazed. This place is great. Nai, our yard is too small. Otherwise, I would also want to plant some vegetables. Yen Zhenhua sighed. Yen Nai nodded, his eyes filled with envy. He wasn't interested in vegetables, but he wanted to plant some flowers. This was probably the Chinese people's natural planting genes. The father and son spoke the hearts of the netizens. After all, the pace of life nowadays was so fast. Who wouldn't yearn for such a beautiful rural life? The three of them walked to the door. Jianghu had also returned after picking cherries. The girl took off her straw hat and politely greeted Yen Zhenhua. Hello, Director Yen. You must be tired from the journey. Director Yen rarely went online, so he didn't know much about Jianghu's dark history. He only thought that the girl was pretty and polite, so his first impression of her was quite good. Yen Nai's eyebrows and eyes resemble yours. He's even more handsome than in the photos. Jianghu praised both father and son. Shi Sui couldn't help but raise her eyebrows. He was just a child. What was there to distinguish between handsome and not handsome? Parents liked it when others praised their children. Director Yen was no exception. The corners of his eyes crinkled as he smiled. Nai, call her sister. Yen Nai stared at Jianghu for a few seconds. The teenager didn't know how to hide his emotions, so he said reluctantly, hello, sister. Jianghu sensed that he seemed to be a little resistant to her, but she couldn't be bothered to investigate. She had always been more patient with girls and children. I just picked some cherries from my yard. I'll wash them with salt water. As she spoke, everyone's eyes fell on the small basket she was carrying. The wicker basket was exquisite and small, and it was filled with cherries. It was the season for cherries to ripen. Jianghu had chosen ripe cherries. The fruits were plump and round, and they were so red that they were almost purple. Just looking at them made people salivate. Xiang Yi's movements were nimble, and she quickly washed it and brought it over. Director Yen loved cherries. He picked one up and stuffed it into his mouth. It tasted juicy and fleshy, and the sweetness was amazing. He exclaimed, cherries grown in our own fields are so sweet. Yen Nai was indecisive. Thinking of the messages on WeChat, he was conflicted about whether or not he should eat the cherries this woman washed. The bullet screen was still lively. As a cherry lover, I'm so envious. We don't produce cherries here, so we can only buy them from other places. When will I be able to experience this kind of life of picking and eating fresh? My land? I want to ask, does being an artist really not require a brain? Your home? Can your family live here? It's just a variety show, don't take it so seriously. This is the girl's home during filming. Dog Yen, get lost. Can't you say that you're rude? Can you do whatever you want just because you're good looking? While they were arguing, Li Jianyu's voice came from the broadcast room. Okay, that's all for the morning trial. We'll adjust the equipment and continue in the afternoon. The netizens were speechless. The screen turned black just like that. Countless people still wanted more, so they flocked to the official account of Two Under One Roof to urge him to update. Miao TV. The employees sat upright and watched the live stream for more than an hour. Their necks were a little sore, and everyone looked at Director Chen in unison. Director Chen's expression was gloomy. Inform everyone that we're having a meeting. Get the person in charge of the PR department to come see me. Sure Sui shouldn't be criticized, right? It didn't matter. That Xiang Yi, who didn't know any better, was a ready-made live target. Chapter 31. After the live stream was paused, Li Jianyu made a simple summary and announced the statistics of the morning's live stream. Our highest number of viewers reached more than 6 million. We're number 1 for the same time period. Thank you for your hard work, teachers. The staff applauded. But Li Jianyu changed the topic. After all, today is Saturday and Daddy sure. Teacher sure has his own popularity. If our content is not attractive, even with the gimmick of a live variety show, it will be difficult to maintain the popularity. Although Yan Zhenhua was only a flying guest, he still gave a suggestion. You chose a very good venue. I think the production team can give out missions, and when the guests complete them, they can receive a certain reward. For example, pick a basket of cherries and get a dish for lunch. Thank you, Director Yan. We'll take your suggestion seriously. Then, Li Jianyu, the scriptwriter, producer, and others went for a discussion. Xiangyi asked, Senior Sure, Director Yan, what do you want to eat for lunch? Yan Zhenhua thought the production team would order takeout, so he said casually, Nanxing's crayfish is quite famous. How about crayfish? Xiangyi looked at Sure Sui. The young actor nodded slightly and said gently, I'm fine with anything. What an easy child to raise. As for Yan Nai, Xiangyi ignored him. She wouldn't waste her feelings or time on people who hated her. Yan Nai, who was about to express his opinion. He felt like he was being targeted. The phone in his sweatpants kept vibrating. Yan Nai hesitated and found a quiet corner before taking it out. The messages were all from one person. Sister Wanyan, Big Brother, are you there yet? Sister Wanyan, wow, I'm watching your live stream. You're so handsome today. Sister Wanyan, actually, I didn't want to talk to you about this, but Xiangyi, she's really? I'm not trying to drive a wedge between us. She and I used to be good friends, but because I advised her not to seduce Shirindi, There were a few screenshots below. Qin Wanyan tried to contact Xiangyi via WeChat, SMS, and other methods, but Xiangyi didn't reply. Yan Nai pursed his lips in distress. His father was busy and his mother was strict. Qin Wanyan's appearance was like a gentle and caring big sister. He was especially dependent on Qin Wanyan and almost saw her as his own sister. In the past year, Qin Wanyan and Xiangyi had become good sisters and best friends. He'd seen Xiangyi a few times, and indeed didn't have a good impression of Xiangyi. She was vain, boastful, and had a bad attitude towards the service staff. More importantly, she had once treated him. Yan Nai's face paled as he recalled that scene, and the nausea welled up again. But he had a sensitive and self-abased personality. He didn't dare say anything harsh to Xiangyi, so after thinking about it, Yan Nai thought of the most harsh sentence he could think of, helplessness. Sister, don't worry. I won't eat anything she touches. Chapter 32. On the other end of the screen, Qin Wanyan was speechless. The corners of her mouth twitched uncontrollably on her exquisitely made-up face. Was this Yan Nai an idiot? She had said so much because she wanted him to deal with Xiangyi. It would be best if he had a conflict with her. If that happened, the netizens would definitely curse Xiangyi to death. But he didn't eat anything she touched. What kind of threat was this? At the Xiang residence. When he saw Xiangyi begin to process the crayfish, Yan Zhenhua was surprised. Young lady, you can cook? A little, Xiangyi said calmly. The crayfish were originally prepared for Xiang Feng. They were soaked in clear water in advance and added salt and a suitable amount of white vinegar. At this time, they were almost done spitting out sand. Xiangyi used a small brush to scrub the shell and pincers one by one. She cut off the cheeks and heads and removed the veins. Everything was handled so neatly that even people with obsessive-compulsive disorder and mysophobia couldn't find fault with it. Yan Zhenhua looked at her skillful movements and knew that her cooking wouldn't be bad. He praised, "Not bad, young lady. There aren't many young people who can cook these days." Yan Nai secretly clenched his fists. Although he loved crayfish, he would never eat Xiangyi's cooking. Not even a bite. Xiangyi's movements were meticulous and neat. It didn't take long for her to process all the crayfish. She asked, "Director Yan, Senior Sure, can you eat spicy food?" Yan Zhenhua rubbed his stomach and looked at Xiangyi with a much kinder gaze. Nai and I can eat spicy food. Shui can't. At most, she can only eat slightly spicy food. In the entertainment industry, he was probably the only one who dared to call Shui a child. Xiangyi nodded. Okay, then I'll make 2 flavors. One is spicy and the other is minced garlic. I'll cook some noodles. Shall we eat noodles later? This is good. The soup of the crayfish was the soul. It was perfect for noodles. After Li Jianyu and the others finished their discussion, they realized that Xiangyi had already processed the ingredients. The cameraman, Old Zhang, smacked his lips. He was still thinking about the bowl of seafood porridge. Seeing that the ingredients had been properly prepared, he couldn't help but whisper, Director Li, do you think Xiangyi really knows how to cook? It looks pretty decent to me. Li Jinyu was also confused at this moment. He had never heard that Xiangyi could cook. Click. The switch of the stove is turned on, and the blue flame jumps up. Xiangyi calmly heats up the oil, puts in scallions, ginger, and garlic, and stirs up the fragrance. After the oil is heated up, she adds a piece of self-made beef oil hot pot base. The overbearing and barbaric aroma quickly fills everyone's nostrils. There was only one word to describe it: fragrant. Old Zhang and Li Jinyu looked at the little girl with thin arms and legs in a daze as she stir-fried a big pot of crayfish. She even tossed 2 ladles. Everyone in position, get ready to shoot. Little Song, come over and shine. Fei Fei confirmed the broadcast equipment. Old Zhang, Jianghu, Shaoxin, there was no need to say the rest. Old Zhang and the other 3 cameramen had already skillfully found their positions. Slurp, I'm so hungry. Good night. Chapter 33. The 3 cameras were filming from different angles. The netizens who were desperately urging the official Weibo account to update suddenly received a notification from the Xingxin app. The streamer you follow, 2 Under One Roof, has started broadcasting. Click to join the live stream. Everyone, oh, it's finally starting. We can see Shi Ingdi again. And our adorable little brother Yan Nai. However, after clicking into the live stream, a very impactful scene appeared. Old Zhang had resigned from Muyao TV at the same time as Li Jianyu. He had many years of experience in photography and had even filmed food documentaries before. Hence, he naturally chose to film from the perspective of food close-up. Xiangyi threw in a handful of onions, and the aroma rose by a few degrees. She then added in some crayfish butter. After the butter and chili hot pot base melted, she added in the slightly deep-fried crayfish. Sizzle. Even through the screen, they could smell the aroma wafting over. Huh? Did I enter the wrong channel? What am I seeing? The vase fairy is cooking? Is the AI head replacement technology so advanced now? Can they replace the vase fairy's head with another chef's? What the hell? This is the vase fairy herself. Did she toss a ladle? Toss a ladle? This big iron pot must weigh more than 10 kilograms, right? F***ck, she really knows how to cook? The crayfish are turning red. I'm swallowing my saliva like crazy. Xiangyi turned on the fire, and the crayfish were quickly fried until their tails curled up and they turned red. She added water, sprinkled a handful of green pepper and dried red pepper, and covered the pot with a lid to simmer. She turned on another stove. Seeing that she was silent, Li Jianyu hurriedly cued her. What are you going to do next? Garlic crayfish, Xiangyi answered calmly, as if she didn't care about the camera. She glanced at the crayfish and then looked away. Li Jianyu's heart skipped a beat. If she didn't say anything, would the rate of abandonment soar? Little did he know that the number of viewers in the live stream was increasing rapidly. The netizens who slept in the morning or those who were on break didn't get to watch the live stream for the first time. It was lunchtime and it was also the weekend, which happened to be the time of peak traffic. Why would they watch a video while eating? Of course, he had to look at the food. The girl on the screen was beautiful without makeup. Her skin was fair, and her slender wrists looked weak. However, she could easily lift a big iron pot and operate 2 stoves at the same time. This alone was enough to attract attention. Most importantly, the crayfish she stir-fried looked too delicious. The atmosphere in the live broadcast room was surprisingly harmonious. Why are these hands suddenly so black, clever and virtuous? What kind of fairy is this? Slurp, my tears are falling from the corners of my mouth. Wu Sister E, I want to go to your house to eat crayfish. I don't eat much, one basin is enough. At one point, the camera cut to the living room to broadcast the interaction between Shui and the Yen father and son. Although the comments were also very active, they were far less active than Xiangyi's cooking. There were also a large number of netizens who strongly requested that the live broadcast be switched back to the kitchen. Li Jianyu? We seem to be a lifestyle variety show? How did it become a gourmet live stream? Forget it, gourmet food is also a part of life. He pointed the camera at Xiangyi with a clear conscience. At this moment, the 2 pots of steaming hot crayfish were served one after another. Chapter 34. Xiangyi didn't just pour the crayfish into the plate. Instead, she lowered her head and carefully arranged the dishes. Her fair and soft hands seemed to be performing a magic trick as she arranged the 2 large pots of crayfish into the shape of flower petals. She took out a transparent glass bottle and gently shook her wrist, embellishing it with white sesame seeds. The 2 cold dishes, crispy cucumber salad and sour and spicy lemon radish, were also decorated with carrots carved into flowers. In the live stream, oh my god, it looks even better with this arrangement. Amazing, it's so F***ing amazing. She instantly made it look like I can't afford it. I just ordered crayfish takeout and there's still 40 minutes to go. I'm about to cry, oh my god, she actually made 2 cold dishes and even stir-fried some vegetables. What kind of logical planning ability is this? You're exaggerating. She just knows how to cook. Which of the chefs in the East isn't better than her? That's right, what's the point of making it so fancy? Who has so much time and energy to arrange dishes? Do I have to learn carving just to eat? Are you crazy? You're living a rough life, but you don't allow others to be refined? The live comments were a mess, but in reality, it was a joyous occasion. Yen Zhenhua called Yen Nai over to serve the dishes while he himself was itching to cook some scrambled eggs with tomatoes. He happily carried it out and placed it next to the crayfish. Come, I'll add another dish for you kids. Thank you, Director Yen. The location for the meal was in a pavilion in the garden, surrounded by a sea of flowers and birds flying past from time to time. It was so beautiful that it looked like a scene from an anime. Yen Zhenhua was craving the moment he smelled the aroma. He didn't even bother to put on disposable gloves as he peeled a spicy crayfish. The rosy and glossy crayfish had been handled very cleanly without a trace of odor or dirt. The moment it entered his mouth, the fresh and spicy soup splashed out between his lips and teeth. The smooth and tender crayfish meat only felt numb after he swallowed it, but more than that, there was an endless aftertaste. You're a good cook, young lady. Yen Zhenhua praised sincerely before immediately peeling another one. Spicy enough. It's strong enough. All chefs would be very happy when their food was recognized, and Xiangyi was no exception. She smiled and pushed a pot of boiled edamame in front of Yen Zhenhua. This is boiled in light salt water, it can relieve the spiciness. Yen Zhenhua's eyes lit up. Crayfish and edamame are a perfect match. Young ladies are particular about people. Shui couldn't eat spicy food, so she chose the garlic-flavored one. The young and handsome man slowly put on his gloves and peeled the prawns in a refined manner, as if he was cutting a steak in a top-notch Western restaurant. After entering the mouth, the aroma of garlic bloomed on the tip of the tongue, but it was not choking. Instead, it blended with the aroma of various spices. The spiciness of the green pepper was neutralized with sugar, and the sweet and spicy garlic taste was easily acceptable. Shui's movements were still graceful, but her eyebrows were relaxed and her long legs were slightly bent. She was in an extremely relaxed posture. The only one who was in pain was Yen Nai. The aroma of the 2 flavors of crayfish wafted into his nose. He was clearly full in the morning, but now his stomach was so empty that he was about to faint from hunger. The young man's clean and slightly protruding Adam's apple kept moving up and down as he struggled wildly between eating and not eating. He looked at Xiangyi with watery eyes. He didn't know if it was because of the smoke in the kitchen, but her appetite wasn't good. After eating 2 mouthfuls, she quietly peeled the crayfish. Her hands were nimble, and in the blink of an eye, she had peeled a small bowl full. Yen Nai's heart skipped a beat. If she peeled the crayfish for me personally, then I can't refuse her kindness. It would be impolite to refuse, and I'll do as she says. Chapter 35. Just one bite. The young man clenched his fists, nervous and expectant. Unexpectedly, Xiangyi placed the bowl of peeled prawns in front of Yen Zhenhua and continued peeling the garlic prawns without a word. Yen Nai, so it wasn't for me. In her beautiful and clear eyes, a trace of disappointment flashed uncontrollably. The live comments were filled with sarcasm and ridicule. Hey, I thought highly of the vase fairy because of her cooking skills, but I didn't expect her to lick Director Yan's boots so easily. It's all about the dishes. Director Yen is a big shot in the film industry after all. She probably wants Director Yen to arrange a role for her, but she doesn't know how bad her acting skills are. She's still peeling? Is she going to give the next one to Shi Yingdi? This woman is so disgusting. Will she die if she doesn't please men? Forgive me for being blunt, but I don't think her cooking is that good. Director Yen and Shi Yingdi probably ate it out of respect. Didn't you see Yen Nai only eating tomato scrambled eggs? In the blink of an eye, Xiangyi finished peeling the second bowl. The netizens who had been scolding her nonstop suddenly entered a strange gambling mode. I bet 50 cents that this bowl is definitely for Shi Sui. No. I think this scheming woman should give it to Yen Nai. I'm dying of laughter. Your brother hasn't even debuted yet. What's the use of her being nice to him? She's definitely going to give it to Shi Yingdi. Some Shi Sui fans might have forgotten that your idol was rejected even when she asked for WeChat. Picking sides at the slightest disagreement was an essential skill for the netizens of this era. Everyone stared at the bowl of prawns peeled by Xiangyi on the screen. Who would give it to Shi Sui? Or Yen Nai? The handsome and charming Yingdi? Or the shy and adorable little brother? Amidst everyone's anticipation, the girl calmly took off her gloves, picked up the prawns and left. Everyone. Li Jinyu called out to her. Xiangyi, where are you going? Xiangyi looked back at him innocently. I'm cooking noodles and giving An some crayfish to try. Everyone? What plot did I miss? Who is An? If I remember correctly, she's the vase fairy's manager? Sister Yi's manager is super cute. In the past, there were rumors that Sister Yi didn't treat him well. Are they really that close? Not far away, Nan, who was worried about his father, was stunned. After this memory loss, he was extremely worried that she would say or do something wrong. He had always felt that he had shamelessly freeloaded the previous few meals. It wasn't until a bowl full of garlic shrimp was stuffed into his hands that Nan realized in a daze, she had really changed. She's changed for the better. Tai, on the other hand, looked as if he had been struck by lightning. What? There were so many shrimps, but none of them were peeled for him? Chapter 36. Shi Sui, who was next to him, raised her eyebrows slightly and slowed down her actions of peeling the crayfish. After adjusting the equipment in the afternoon, the live stream was divided into several rooms. The main live stream was similar to a normal variety show, with the camera constantly switching between each person. Each guest also had their own personal live stream, with a cameraman filming the entire process. At present, Shi Sui's personal live stream had the most viewers, followed by the show's main live stream, followed by Yen Nai, Yen Zhenhua, and finally Xiangyi. The comments in Shi Sui's live stream were quite lively. Raising an eyebrow is so cool. I'm reminded of Gija's paranoid pervert role in Rainy Night, again. Hey, why do I feel like Shi Sui is a little upset? It's like a kindergarten kid who didn't get his favorite toy. I'm so pissed off. Xiangyi is poisonous. She's peeling crayfish for her manager but not for us Shi Sui? The vase fairy seducing Shi Yingdi makes me angry, but the vase fairy ignoring Shi Yingdi makes me even angrier. Xiangyi's cameraman was old Zhang. His style was very similar to Li Jinyu's, who liked to shoot beautiful scenes. Thus, he stood a little further away, wanting to take a shot of Xiangyi from afar. Xiangyi happened to not be very sensitive to the camera, so the main camera was still filming Shui and the others. Thus, she chatted with Annan for a while. Is it good? Annan nodded like he was pounding garlic while stuffing crayfish into his mouth. The delicious food made him less vigilant, and he didn't notice old Zhang in the distance. I thought you were going to peel for Shui. Xiangyi was puzzled. Why should I peel for him? Didn't you say to avoid suspicion? If there were no cameras, Xiangyi would definitely peel for Shui. Shui's figure was naturally tall and straight, but in Xiangyi's eyes, he was too thin, as if the wind could blow him away. She felt like a grandmother looking at her grandson, wishing she could stuff all the delicious food in the house into his mouth. However, Annan said that she had too many haters. In order to avoid trouble, he advised her to keep a distance from Shui. To sum it up in one sentence, interact less, speak less, and it's best if you don't even look at each other. This way, the anti-fans would not be able to use this as a pretext to make a fuss. Annan said vaguely, then why didn't you give it to Yan Nai? I've been looking at you for a long time. If he wants to eat, he can peel it himself. Besides, I don't think he likes crayfish. There was something else that Xiangyi didn't say. Yan Nai didn't hate the food but her. Then why did you strip Director Yan? I read the information yesterday. Director Yan has an old illness. Casually peeling a bowl of prawns wasn't a difficult task for her. Moreover, Director Yan was an elder, and the Xiang family had a very good upbringing. The younger generation respected their elders from the bottom of their hearts. The conversation was weak, but it reached the live stream. For a moment, huh? So our sister E peeled crayfish for Director Yan because of his injury? This must be a script. I don't believe the vase fairy would be so kind. But if she's acting, then she's acting. As long as she looks good, it's fine. No, wait, does pretty sister want to be beautiful on her own? She actually said she wanted to avoid suspicion with Ingdi? Actually, I think the little sister's personality is very good. After peeling the crayfish, she didn't take credit in front of Director Yan or anything. It's just that kind of casual gentleness, but it's very comforting. Most of Xiangyi's livestream was focused on her face. They weren't as resistant to her as the haters. At this moment, everyone's impression of her had risen by a notch. Chapter 37. After feeding Annan, Xiangyi went into the kitchen to get busy. The noodles were handmade buckwheat noodles. Buckwheat was rich in protein, vitamins, and so on, and it wasn't easy to convert to fat in the body. After the buckwheat noodles were cooked, they were soaked in cold water for a while to make the noodles more chewy. At the same time, Xiangyi took out the sour plum soup she made in the morning from the fridge, put it in a transparent kettle, and brought it out. In the pavilion, Yan Zhenhua ate until he was panting. The more he ate, the spicier it became, but the spicier it was, the more he wanted to eat. His throat was burning, but his hands refused to stop. Seeing the sour plum soup in Xiangyi's hands, Yan Zhenhua's eyes lit up. Little girl, you didn't make this yourself, did you? Xiangyi poured him a cup and sprinkled some osmanthus on it. Then she replied gently, yes, I cooked it with dark plum, hawthorn, tangerine peel, licorice, and rock sugar. I just took it out of the fridge, so it's a bit cold. Drink slowly. Yan Zhenhua couldn't wait to taste it. The iced sour plum soup was sweet and sour, and the fragrance of osmanthus seemed to linger between his lips and teeth. His throat, which had been smoking just now, felt much better after drinking a few mouthfuls. At this time, Xiangyi used the serving chopsticks to mix the buckwheat noodles into the crayfish soup. According to the order, she first filled a bowl for Yan Zhenhua, then filled a bowl for Shui, which wasn't spicy. Yan Nai ate scrambled eggs with tomatoes for a long time. It was bad enough that his mouth was tasteless, but it wasn't enough to satisfy his hunger. Boys his age were at the age when they could eat, so after eating half a plate of scrambled eggs with tomatoes, he still felt hungry. He eagerly waited for Xiangyi to fill a bowl with noodles for him and then enthusiastically persuade him. Then, he would reluctantly eat a bowl. Just one bowl. This was just an acknowledgement of her cooking skills. It definitely didn't mean that he forgave her. He didn't expect Xiangyi to fill the third bowl for himself. Then she put down the serving chopsticks and glanced at Yan Nai indifferently. This is buckwheat noodles. I don't know if you can get used to it, but you can try it yourself. Her attitude wasn't actually cold, but Yen Nai inexplicably cowered. I'm not hungry. Xiangyi lowered her head to eat. Weak, helpless, and pitiful Yen Nai. He felt as if there were 8 big words written above Xiangyi's head. Eat it or not. If you don't want to eat it, then forget it. If it were someone else, they might have been concerned about Yen Nai. However, Yen Zhenhua was very magnanimous and only cared about eating by himself. Shi Sui looked gentle, but she had a sense of propriety when interacting with others. She would never meddle in other people's business. Therefore, the more Yen Zhenhua enjoyed the meal and the more full he was, the more pain and hunger Yen Nai felt. Burp. Yen Zhenhua, who had eaten his fill, burped. Shi Sui also stopped eating. Xiangyi silently begins to clean up the table. Yen Zhenhua is a little embarrassed. An Nai, help your sister clean up. Xiangyi's portion was on the larger side, and Yen Nai didn't eat a single bite. Shi Sui didn't eat spicy food, so there was still some spicy crayfish left. Yen Nai nodded and really began to clean up. This young master, who had never done any household chores, was in a difficult position. Should I throw these away? The question was directed to Xiangyi, but he couldn't bring himself to call her sister. In his heart, the gentle, intellectual, and understanding Qin Wanyan was his sister. She didn't deserve it. The live comments, Ah Wei is dead. This little puppy is too soft and cute. Boo-hoo, I miss little brother Rua's face, and those little boobs are so cute. Don't throw them away. Give me the address, I'll take a taxi there and eat it all. Ahem. Li Jinyu cleared his throat behind the camera and shamelessly said, Little brother Yen Nai, our production team is willing to take back the leftovers. Yen Nai was stunned. That's not very good. After all, it was leftovers. Would anyone really be willing to eat them? Chapter 38. The next second, all the staff members on site nodded in unison. Yen Nai. Little did they know that the bowl of seafood porridge in the morning had only whetted everyone's appetite. Later, when they smelled the aroma of the crayfish, if it weren't for their professional ethics, they would have turned into hungry wolves and rushed over to grab the food. Xiangyi, there's still sour plum soup in the fridge. Do you want it? The girl's voice was soft and polite, which sounded like the sound of nature in the ears of the staff. Li Jinyu said without reservation, Yes, yes, yes. Then I'll go get it. No, 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 Teacher Xiangyi, please take a seat. We'll do it ourselves. The audience in the live stream? They were still calling her Xiangyi in the morning, but now they're calling her Teacher Xiangyi. This must be the most unscrupulous program in history. Wait, a slow, low voice reached everyone's ears. Shi Sui's thin lips curled into a lazy, evil smile. How do you calculate the return fee? Huh. Yen Zhenhua reacted quickly and chimed in. That's right, this recycling of old cell phones and home appliances even has to change pots and scissors. The program crew, damn, how could they forget about these 2 old foxes? After some negotiation, Shi Sui proposed a humiliating clause. The program crew had to help clean up, including but not limited to cleaning up the dishes, washing the dishes, wiping the table, etc. The netizens in the live stream initially thought that the program crew wouldn't agree, but the camera changed. More than a dozen staff members surrounded the small amount of crayfish. Those with fast hands could grab 2, while those with slow hands could only grab 1. They couldn't bear to eat it all at once and slowly ate it in their hands, as if they were eating some precious and expensive delicacy. Not to mention the noodles, each person could only pick 1 portion. Everyone couldn't care less about cleanliness as they carefully soaked the crayfish soup before eating it like it was a treasure. The satisfied expressions of the staff members were too real. Only then did the audience realize that Xiangyi's cooking was really delicious. I'm hungry, I opened the mysterious yellow app again. Haha, good thing I ordered takeout early. I can watch while eating. The earlier I spend, the earlier I can enjoy. I'm dying of laughter. In other variety shows, it's always the production team squeezing the guests dry. I didn't expect it to be the other way around. This is the first time I've seen the production team help the guests clean up. With someone helping to clean up, Xiangyi was also happy to be free. She poured a cup of sour plum soup and sipped it. Yan Zhenhua and Shi Sui chatted about the past for a while. They talked about the tough experience of filming in the deep mountains. That day was a night shoot, and it was raining. Using the jokes you youngsters use, that rain was heavier than the day Yiping went to ask her father for money. Shi Sui was filming a fighting scene. She rolled around in the mud, and her eyelashes were covered in mud. Although Yan Zhenhua was getting on in years, he was still very humorous. When he spoke, it was as if he was doing a monologue. But after that day, our crew had a farmhouse restaurant's earth pot chicken. It was really delicious. Xiangyi didn't interrupt, but she listened very carefully. From time to time, she would nod or smile in response. She said softly, "There's an earth pot stove in the small kitchen. Shall we make earth pot chicken or stew for dinner?" Yan Zhenhua slapped his thigh excitedly. Good, good, good. Do you want to burn some firewood? I'll go chop some firewood right away." A certain well-known director had completely forgotten that he had come to the show to chat and relax with Shi Sui. "Xiangyi, you have an old injury on your hand, let me do it." Yan Zhenhua was stunned for 2 seconds before smiling. "You're quite meticulous, young lady. You peeled the crayfish for me because of an injury?" There was an uproar in the live stream. Asterisk, there are over 200 comments on this chapter. I'll add more today. The bad student Nuan is going to catch up on her homework. Good night. Chapter 39. Huh? Is that why the vase fairy peeled prawns for Director Yen? I suddenly feel like the vase fairy isn't that annoying anymore. It's like she's a different person. Oh my god, my impression of Xiangyi has really changed. Not only is she a good cook, she's also meticulous and knows how to take care of people. It's true, it's true. I was just watching Pretty Sister's stream and heard her conversation with her manager. She even took the initiative to avoid suspicion with Sure Indy. Hype? A dog can't stop eating sh*t. How can the vase fairy change? It's just a script. There are so many fools these days who still believe the celebrities in variety shows are real. There was a lot of discussion in the comments. Some people had changed their opinion of Xiangyi, while others were still relentlessly criticizing her. However, everyone's unified thought was, Xiangyi would definitely show off in front of Yan Zhenhua. Unexpectedly, the girl only smiled faintly. "I'm going to chop wood." That's it? She didn't take credit, didn't show off her meticulousness, and even remembered such a small detail like Director Yan's old injury? Yan Zhenhua was even more satisfied with Xiangyi. "Let's go, Shi Sui. Let's go take a look." Shi Sui pushed her gold-rimmed glasses up her nose and followed. Yan Nai was also dragged along by his father. The small kitchen was a traditional Chinese-style building. There was a pot, a stove, and corresponding kitchen utensils. There was dry wood prepared all year round, but it hadn't been chopped yet. Yan Zhenhua was determined to prove that he hadn't aged. He picked up the axe and chopped a few times. The wood either fell from the stump or wedged into the wood. Yan Zhenhua was old after all. After a few tries, he was out of breath. However, Yan Zhenhua still firmly believed that there was no problem with his method. He just didn't have enough strength. He patted Yan Nai's shoulder. Nai, try it." Yan Nai hesitated. I can't." "Can you be a little more manly?" Yan Zhenhua said loudly. "Listen to me, use your strength from this angle." He spoke and gestured as he explained eloquently. It was as if he was lecturing someone on the set. Yan Nai tried twice and also failed. Yan Zhenhua was a little unhappy. Where did all the food go? You can't even do such a small task? Instantly, the bullet screen started to fire at him. Your brother is thin to begin with, and he's never done this kind of work before. Isn't it normal that he can't chop well? What kind of father is this? Yan Nai didn't even take a sip of water other than scrambled eggs with tomatoes. It's bad enough that he doesn't care about his son, but he's so fierce. The little puppy is so pitiful. I'm physically and mentally uncomfortable with a middle-aged greasy man like Yan Zhenhua who likes to be a teacher and give advice. I'm reminded of my silly menopausal leader again. Hee, isn't this the current situation of traditional parents in our country? Apart from suppressing and criticizing their children, They never consider their children's feelings. Yen Nai's personality had always been sensitive. Being scolded in public, he was momentarily stunned. He stood there in a daze and even forgot to defend himself. Li Jianyu's heart was in his throat. He was afraid that the atmosphere would become awkward because of this. Suddenly, he heard the man's low chuckle. "Teacher Xiangyi, can you teach us?" The netizens were speechless. "Brother, you're too flirtatious. Who can resist that?" Xiangyi nodded and demonstrated. The girl raised her hand and the axe fell, splitting the wood into two. Her movements were clean, neat, and valiant. It was as if she was cutting a cake. In an instant, the netizens were speechless. "Pretty girl? No, 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 pretty sister is too much." Chapter 40. Xiangyi's display of skill shocked countless people in front of the screen. The on-site staff were also shocked. They thought Xiangyi was just joking, but they didn't expect her to really know how to chop wood. Yen Nai's eyes widened, filled with shock. "She really did it?" A soft and calm voice suddenly sounded in his ear. "It's not that you don't have enough strength, it's that there's a problem with your technique. Try this." Yen Nai froze for a few seconds before realizing that Xiangyi was teaching him. She slowed down her movements, her tone was patient, and her explanation was logical. Yen Nai tried it after listening and actually managed to chop a slightly smaller piece of wood. Yen Zhenhua was happy, but he was a typical male chauvinist. He snorted. "You only chopped one piece, what's there to be happy about?" He didn't think much of it. After all, Yen Nai's grandfather and his father had taught him this. Yen Nai's eyes that had just lit up gradually dimmed. Live comments. "Yen Zhenhua is poisonous. What's wrong with praising your son? Must you attack him like this?" A round of applause rang out. It was Xiang Yi who was supporting him. "That's amazing." Yen Nai shyly clenched the wooden handle of the axe. It's nothing," she was the woman he used to hate, but now he was being praised, very happily. Shi Sui's lips curved slightly as she cooperated. "Yeah, An Nai is good at learning and practical." The young boy was even happier. If he had a tail, it would probably be wagging. Xiangyi looked at Yen Zhenhua and smiled. "Director Yen, aren't you going to praise Yen Nai?" Yen Zhenhua waved his hand. "Oh, how can I say that? Praising an actor was fine, but praising his own son, that was too embarrassing. I think children should be praised more." Xiangyi picked up another axe and chatted while chopping wood. "When I was a child, I liked it when my elders praised me. Every time they did, I was especially motivated." This statement resonated with many people. "It's me, the more the teacher praises me, the more motivated I am. I really like to flatter my sisters, and I also like it when my sisters flatter me in different ways. Sister E is so hardworking. She's so efficient, so valiant and gentle. Woo-woo, I'm turning from a passerby to a fan." Yen Nai didn't have any expectations for Yen Zhenhua. He actually knew that his father loved him, but his way of expressing it was reserved. Therefore it didn't matter. He didn't really need his father's approval. But unexpectedly, Yen Zhenhua coughed. That is not bad. Keep up the good work." Yen Nai jerked his head up and stared at his father in disbelief. Yen Zhenhua felt embarrassed after praising him. He touched his stomach and looked away. "I'll go take a look at the chickens. I can't chop firewood, but I'm good at killing chickens." Chapter 41. The live comments. Director Yen can't be at Sundra, right? I actually think Director Yen is very cute. Chicken? Don't come over, I'm going to scream." Director Li Jianyu, who had been paying attention to the netizens' comments throughout the entire process, heaved a sigh of relief when he saw the change in the live comments. Thinking back, he realized, did Shi Sui and Xiangyi inadvertently work together? And they even cooperated perfectly? Li Jianyu didn't have time to think about it in detail as his attention was attracted by the comments praising Xiangyi. He also noticed that the number of viewers in Xiangyi's personal livestream had actually increased. Although the increase wasn't huge, it was a reflection that more and more viewers were becoming interested in her. Perhaps, there was a deeper meaning behind Daddy Shi's recommendation of Xiangyi to star in this live variety show. Yen Zhenhua ran to the chicken coop to take a look. There were more than a dozen chickens in total, as well as a nest of freshly hatched chicks with light yellow fluffy feathers. The chicken coop was very clean, and there was a thick layer of hay on the ground. There wasn't any smell. Shi Sui also came over, and Xiangyi even stuffed him with a small basket so that he could pick up some eggs. Because the scene of the chickens being slaughtered was too bloody, the cameraman paused the filming. Yan Zhenhua scanned the chicken coop with his eyes, intending to pick the fattest one. He casually chatted, "Shi Sui, what do you think of that little girl, Xiangyi?" Shi Sui slowly picked up an egg. The female staff at the side couldn't help but look at him. His fair and slender hands with distinct joints didn't look like someone who would do such a thing at all. But when he did, it was incomparably elegant and pleasing to the eye. Yan Zhenhua smiled and said, "If you ask me, this little girl is pretty and has a good temper. She's a good match for our Anai." Shi Sui paused in his actions of picking up the eggs and continued unhurriedly, "Director Yan, Anai is still a child. Yan Nai was only 17 years old this year and was underage. I just asked around, the little girl is 3 years older than our Anai. As the old saying goes, a woman 3 years older than her husband would carry a golden brick. Look at this, when fate comes, it can't be stopped. This is simply a match made in heaven, a match bestowed by heaven." The more Yan Zhenhua thought about it, the more convinced he was. He slapped his thigh and said, "If this is really done, I will give you a big red packet. In the future, the little girl won't call you senior anymore. She'll call you uncle like Anai. We'll be a loving family." Shi Sui had always been gentle and courteous, but for some reason she was silent today. Unfortunately, Yan Zhenhua, a straight man, was already immersed in the image of Xiangyi and Yan Nai's baby surrounding him and calling him grandpa. On the other side, halfway through the scene of chopping firewood, there was a signal problem, and the live broadcast had to be temporarily suspended. Xiangyi, on the other hand, didn't stay idle. She found a food container and prepared to pick some fruit for Xiang Feng to send to the driver. Yan Nai didn't know where his courage came from, but he stopped her. Xiangyi? Stop, I have something to say to you." Xiangyi turned back, her eyes indifferent. "What's the matter?" Meeting her clear eyes, Yan Nai suddenly stuttered, If there's nothing else, I'm leaving." Yan Nai was anxious and blurted out, "Why are you ignoring Sister Wanyan? She's clearly doing this for your own good. Why don't you understand her at all?" Xiangyi was at a loss. "Who?" Yan Nai said indignantly, "It's fine if you pretend not to know me, but do you also pretend not to know Sister Wanyan? Xiangyi, you have no heart." A question mark slowly appeared on top of Xiangyi's head. This chapter was updated after reading the comments on QQ. There will be an update in the morning, so it will be late, so I'll say good night first. Chapter 42. Known. Condition A. The child knows me. Condition B. The Sister Wanyan that the child mentioned knows me. Condition C. I don't know them. From this, it could be understood that he was a friend of the person who occupied her body. After sorting it out, Xiangyi said good-naturedly, "Sorry, I lost my memory. I forgot all the memories of the past year." How could Yan Nai believe her? The little boy trembled with anger. You're lying again. You used to lie all the time, saying you lost your memory and tricking Sister Wanyan into being nice to you." He lowered his eyes, feeling wronged. Why did you pretend you didn't know me? You were the one who confessed to me, and the one who touched my hand was also you, Xiangyi." In a flash, Xiangyi understood what was going on. No wonder Anan and Xiang Feng always used the word waste. Well, it was on. So the one who occupied her body was a sea king? Thinking of the scumbag who took the little white flower to break up with her, Xiangyi actually felt a little pity for him. He cuckolded at her, she cuckolded him, she cuckolded him, she cuckolded him, he cuckolded her. This was simply like a wonderful frog eating a wonderful crispy horn, wonderful entering Mickey Mouse's wonderful house, wonderful to the extreme. The little boy's eyes were red, and his eyelashes were stained with moisture. His bad attitude towards her had a reason, so Xiangyi couldn't help but feel a little more like spoiling a cub. "Yan Nai, look at me, look into my eyes, okay?" The girl softened her voice, almost coaxing a child. Yan Nai hesitated, then raised his eyes. Xiangyi patiently explained, "Have you ever heard of dual personality? Maybe you don't believe it, but in the past year, do you really think the Xiangyi you knew and the current me are the same person?" Yan Nai was stunned. Indeed, they didn't look alike. That Xiangyi had frivolous eyes, vain and pompous, and when she touched his hand, it was really disgusting. But the girl in front of him now had a gentle temperament, clear eyes, and eyes that seemed to be full of stars. Her whole person was bright and soft. She was a completely different person. "You have an answer in your heart, don't you?" Xiangyi said softly. "I apologize for what happened in the past, but I really don't have those memories. If you want to vent your negative emotions on me, I'm fine with it. But I hope you understand that I didn't lie to you, and there is no need for me to lie to you." Yan Nai's voice was slightly nasal. "You're lying. You are a liar." "Fine, you don't want to listen to me, do you?" Xiangyi looked around and picked up a sickle expressionlessly. She asked casually, "Do you believe me now?" Yan Nai. 2 minutes later, the young boy accepted the fact that Xiangyi had lost her memory. He obediently held the food container and followed behind Xiangyi like a little tail. If one ignored the scythe in Xiangyi's hand, the scene would have been perfect. There was a ladder near the fruit trees. Xiangyi lightly and nimbly climbed up a loquat tree. The fruit on the tree wasn't easy to pick, so she hooked it with the scythe and easily reached it. Yan Nai weakly picked up the scattered fruit that had fallen to the ground. Yan Nai was so nervous that he accidentally dropped the food container that was filled with loquats. Suddenly, a word echoed in Yan Nai's mind, "Danger." The next second, the girl suddenly patted his cheeks twice. Her voice was gentle but rather threatening. The wind blew a strand of her hair and stuck it to his brow bone. She was very close. "I only like obedient children. If you deliberately cause trouble, you'll get beaten up." Whoosh! Yan Nai's ears turned red. Asterisk, can the diligent Nuanyuan have votes and comments? Good night. Chapter 43. How strange, her touch didn't seem so annoying anymore. His heartbeat was also erratic. I didn't do it on purpose." Yan Nai's voice was getting smaller and smaller. He didn't dare to look at Xiangyi. He lowered his eyes, and the fringe on his forehead covered his clear eyes. From Xiangyi's point of view, the kid was scared. "Forget it, I'll just scare him a little. Her pretty little brother has the privilege of being forgiven and doted on." "Are you hungry?" she asked. Before he could finish his sentence, Yan Nai's stomach growled at an inappropriate time. His fair and handsome face, which still had some baby fat, instantly turned red. Xiangyi's lips curved. "What do you like to eat? I'll pick loquats for you later." Yan Nai's eyes lit up. There was such a good thing. Half an hour later, a bowl of hot rice noodles was placed in front of Yan Nai. The rice noodles were made by Xiangyi. They were white and smooth, soft and elastic. Considering Yan Nai's preference for spicy and sour food, she made a fragrant meat sauce as a topping. She also added some refreshing side dishes and vegetables, filling the bowl to the brim. Yan Nai huffed and puffed as he ate. "If you can't finish it, it's okay to have leftovers," Xiangyi reminded him. Her biggest worry as a child was that she couldn't leave leftovers when eating at other people's houses. However, all the elders liked to give her food. She had to bite the bullet and eat when she couldn't finish it. It was a painful feeling. There was no need to make things difficult for the kid. Yan Nai raised his head from the bowl that was bigger than his face. The corners of his mouth were oily, and he revealed a shy smile. Leftovers? That didn't exist. He even wanted to have another bowl. Xiangyi went to wash the fruits so that it would be convenient for Xiang Feng to eat when he received them. Buzz buzz, his phone vibrated. It was a voice call from Qin Wanyan. Yan Nai hesitated for a moment before answering the call. "Sister Wanyan." Qin Wanyan's gentle and concerned voice came through the receiver. "Nai, I heard that there was an accident during the live broadcast. Are you okay? Are you hungry? Do you want me to order some takeout for you?" There was a signal tower nearby that was undergoing maintenance, so the live broadcast could not be carried out for the time being. The program team posted an apology on Weibo. "Thank you, Sister Wanyan, but there's no need." Yan Nai's heart was warm. Qin Wanyan's concern always made him feel very happy. Qin Wanyan chose her words carefully. Big brother, I saw that you only ate scrambled eggs with tomatoes during dinner, but Xiangyi didn't even try to persuade you. Sigh, after what she did to you, she left a shadow in your heart. She doesn't even care about you, Yan Nai spoke sternly. Sister Wanyan, Sister Xiangyi lost her memory. She doesn't remember anything from the past year. In that case, let bygones be bygones. On the other end of the phone, Qin Wanyan had already prepared a set of lotus words. Yan Nai's sudden words left her speechless. Sister Xiangyi? Didn't you say that you hated Xiangyi the most? The fact that Yan Nai was once molested by Xiangyi was Qin Wanyan's biggest trump card. From time to time, she would use it to brainwash Yan Nai and make him remember the pain. Whenever Yan Nai thought about it, he would feel nauseous. This was the first time that her trump card had failed. Also, Sister Wanyan, Sister Xiangyi didn't mean to ignore you. Her eyes aren't good. She has pseudomyopia and a thin cornea, so she can't use electronic devices often. She hasn't even used her phone recently, so I'm sure she didn't mean to not reply to your messages. Okay, I'm hanging up. I'm going to eat my noodles. Qin Wanyan? You believe in the bullshit of amnesia and bad eyes? I think there's something wrong with your head. Chapter 44. Qin Wanyan wanted to continue, but this time, Yan Nai hung up in a hurry, as if he was being chased by a dog. Before he hung up, Qin Wanyan vaguely heard a burp. At the same time, at a research institute in China, top talents from various fields were gathered at the research institute. They were usually busy with their own things, and the only place they met was the cafeteria. Xiang Li rarely went to the cafeteria. Usually, the Xiang family's chef would deliver food. But today, the new chef accidentally made food that he hated. Xiang Li didn't even touch it and went straight to the cafeteria. He was famous among the weirdos in the research institute for being cold and hard to get along with. The only person he was closest to was the little fatty in the laboratory next door. Brotherly, today's braised pork and crab roe buns are delicious. The little fatty enthusiastically recommended the menu as soon as he saw him. He looked at the tablet on the table as he ate. I don't know the name of this foodie blogger, but the crayfish looks so delicious. Xiang Li didn't have the habit of using his phone while eating. He casually glanced at the screen, but his gaze froze. On the screen, there seemed to be an edited version of a short video. A beautiful girl with no makeup stir-fried the crayfish a few times and served it on a plate. It only took about 10 seconds, but the little fatty had watched it over and over again for who knows how many times. The hot soup splashed on the back of the girl's fair hand. If one looked closely, they would see that her skin was slightly red. It was common to get scalded while cooking. But Xiang Li's brows furrowed deeply. He patted the little fatty on the shoulder. Do you still have that special ointment that your laboratory developed some time ago? We do, but it's too expensive. I only kept a tube. Give it to me. His tone was firm. The little fatty was a little reluctant. Brotherly, I'll keep an eye on your experiment tonight, Xiang Li said expressionlessly. The little fatty. Oh, it's a deal. Brotherly, I'll go get it now. The little fatty stopped eating and ran to get the ointment. He found Xiang Li writing an address on a piece of paper. The man was left-handed, but now he was using his right hand. His handwriting was still strong and smooth. He first wrote a string of words, which seemed to be the name of a manor. Then he crossed it out and replaced it with the Stars Entertainment Company building. The little fatty was curious. Brotherly, who are you giving this ointment to? Family? Xiang Li said in a disdainful tone, idiot. After a pause, he added, let the big idiot give the little idiot. Little fatty? After Yan Nai finished the noodles, he obediently went to wash the dishes. Xiangyi had specially left him a portion of fruit and a cup of freshly squeezed strawberry yogurt. The young boy immediately became excited. Sister, I'll go chop some firewood later. Xiangyi didn't mind the change in the way he addressed her. She casually said, then wear gloves. Don't scratch your hands. She was about to contact her uncle, Xiang Feng, when she heard a familiar voice. Little Xiangyi, your package has been delivered. Come and sign for it. Thus, Yen Nai discovered that Xiangyi's originally calm expression had blossomed into a sweet smile. Uncle. Xiang Feng came with a bunch of packages. He pinched Xiangyi's chubby cheeks and took out a thin kitten from his suit pocket. I just picked it up on the side of the road. Although it's a little ugly, it looks like sanction. I'm going to take it back and raise it. When the kitten saw Xiangyi, it meowed excitedly and waved its little paws wildly. Xiangyi was stunned. She hesitantly called out a name. Tong Tong?